Hello, guys. Welcome to the Stardom Cast, your weekly audio source of all things World Wonder Ring Stardom. I'm your host, Rob Goodwin. I am back, and I am joined as ever by the constant of the Stardom Cast. It is, in fact, Mr. Matt Turner. Mr. Matt Turner. It is very, very lovely. On the eve of Independence Day and on the eve of the last ever Black Sabbath concert. It is a momentous week, and Rob Goodwin has returned to the Stardom Cast.
I mean, I'm always in a great mood, brother. You know that, but I mean, just in general, because of what you just mentioned now here in the United States, again, as we're recording, it is the 3rd of July, and it's actually the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future as we're recording. So happy anniversary to when this baby hits 88 miles per hour. You're going to see some serious. But anywho, so yes, we have the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future today. Tomorrow, again, as we're recording tomorrow, it is Friday. It is 4th of July. So happy Independence Day to all of us in the United States. And just as important, I'm super excited. I know me and you were texting the other day. The biggest concert of all time, no disrespect to Meltier. This is, for me, the biggest concert of all time, the final, Back to the Beginning in your home country of England. We got Black Sabbath, we got Ozzy Osbourne, Metallica, Alice in Chains, Slayer, Pantera, Lamb of God. Super excited. We were having a 4th of July cookout at my parents' house in the pizza capital of the world, Old Forge, Pennsylvania. I have a projector. I have a soundboard. We got a lot of beer. I even bought a slip and slide because I have not slip and slide in my parents' backyard in some 30 some odd years. And I realized I didn't realize, but after I bought it, my wife's like, this is a kid's slip and slide. I was like, no, it's a slip and slide. She's like, yeah, it says the maximum weight is 135 pounds. I'm like, I don't care because I'm going to be hammered drunk on the slip and slide while I'm listening to Slayer. I'm like, I really, really don't care. So we're hoping everything kind of goes off without a hitch, because with the projector bouncing off either my parents' house or the garage, it's going to be earlier in the day because the 5-hour time zone difference. But I was like, honestly, how much of this are we actually going to watch? Because I'm going to be on the slip and slide. I'm going to be working on my tan. I'm going to be eating some breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that's how long this concert is going to be.
It is a mammoth concert. They reckon it's going to be about 9 hours.
And I'm all for it. And I'm going to be drinking. I already have some pineapple beer in my fridge. So yes, because you need that extra vitamin C. But that, not only that, Rob Goodwin, but also on the same day, we have the announcements of the 5-star Grand Prix. So it's a huge, huge week. And to top it all off, folks, we don't know how long we have him for. We're going to talk about it right now. Rob Goodwin is back on the podcast. I had so many people asking me, did you fire Rob? Is Rob on vacation? What is going on? And I was like, no, obviously Rob. And I mentioned, I'm like, don't you listen to the podcast on the Marigold Standard, on the Patreon, on the Stardom Cast? I keep saying Rob is out with the back injury. So he is going to tough it out for as long as need be. But I told him, don't push the whole entire episode if he can't do it, because we have 5-star season right around the corner. And that is going to be very much like Hazuki, no days off for us on the Stardom Cast.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously hurt my back doing well. I say doing something mundane. I was saving children from a burning building. Not all heroes wear capes, ladies and gentlemen. You are staring at a bona fide hero. No, it turns out that 35 is the age where your back goes lifting the toilet seat. I was lifting the toilet seats to go for my morning slash. And speaking of people playing at Villa Park on Saturday, and literally just an eruption of pain radiating from the small of my back. It was like my entire back was on fire. Couldn't stand up, couldn't bend down, couldn't sit, couldn't lie. It's a horrible feeling. So yes, it looks like a slip disc. And the doctors have basically said there's not a lot they can do, just to try and keep moving as much as you can. So, yeah, that's what I've got to do, basically. Sitting for long periods does obviously still hurt because of where it is, because it's literally right above my arse. So it's literally the very, very small of my back. So sitting has been rather uncomfortable. Thankfully, this chair is actually one of the more comfier places to sit. But at the moment, the prognosis is I'm going to do the news, because there is quite a lot of news to talk about, because obviously not having Mayu or Tam or Micah or Tekla or Mina for the 5-star Grand Prix this year wasn't enough of an obstacle for Stardom. So we're going to talk about that. And then Matt is going to guide you through those 3 shows from this week. So yeah, lots and lots to talk about. And yeah, it's lovely to see your face again, my friend. Lovely to see your face. Lovely to hear your voice.
Always good, buddy. And I'm kind of familiar with what you have because I have 2 deteriorated discs in my lower back, again, right above my butt, like you. And what had helped me was DDP yoga. It works, folks. DDP yoga and a lot of water. And I was actually, I always drink a bunch of water. I actually just started right around there. I forget when this was, maybe 7-8 years ago. So I got up to drinking the gallon of water. And what my chiropractor told me is it builds the fluid up and almost works as a cushion on those discs. So there is sometimes in the morning my back is a little stiff, and I use this this cold spray. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you because I asked if you were doing the hot and cold thing. I spray that on, and then I always do cardio first thing in the morning, and that when I start working up a sweat, you can feel it. Yeah, loosens it up, and that is a godsend. But icy hot works. Regular ice, that's a good one too, and then the cold to hot shower that always loosens it up. But yeah, I'm still in a bit of pain, and that's just the wear and tear of pro wrestling. And by no means am I complaining. You know, if anything, I would have went harder when I was in my prime. But all those years of doing the superplexes, my friend, all those years. But no, you'll get there, my man. You'll get there. But glad that you're back here for a little bit. Like I said, folks, we're easing Rob back in. I know a lot of people have missed him on the podcast, especially me. But glad you're back for we have a massive announcement coming up this Saturday on the 5-star Grand Prix. And I do kind of want to pick your brain, especially on air, about, because they've never done these announcement. Like usually they would do it like on the pay-per-view before, or on like a pay-per-view a month or 2 before, like here's the participants, but they're actually having a press conference that they either sold tickets to or gave tickets to, which are sold out. I checked this morning. So this is a big deal. And considering, as you mentioned, no Mayu, no Mina, no Tekla, no Micah, no Tam, no somebody else we're going to talk about. My guess is there's going to be a few decent sized names in said tournament that obviously we know getting Azumi, Natsupoi. And again, we'll get into it, but I think there's going to be some holy bleep announcements that I will wake up, watch that, and then head down to Old Forge, Pennsylvania for some mimosas and pancakes with my old man, as I think it's Gojira is going to be like the opening band. And also, I don't know if you saw, did you see the 2 hosts of this Black Sabbath concert? Who's hosting
I haven't. I didn't even know Gojira were the opening band until just.
I don't know if they're the opening band. It's just it seemed like that's how it's listed. It could be, it could not be. I think that's a great way. You know, I always say you got to show off. You got to start off or show off hot. Why not that? But 2 hosts. There's going to be Jack Black and Jason Momoa, Aquaman himself, are going to be hosts.
Jason Momoa, the man who loves metal more than any other man.
Yeah, last year or 2 years ago, he was at the SoFi Stadium where they had WrestleMania 39 for all you WrestleMania buffs. That he was at said show and not behind the scenes. He was in the mosh pit.
Oh, like he was leading the Circle of Death. I saw.
There's literally videos of just, here's Jason Momoa. I'm suing multi-millionaire, just moshing with just random people in Los Angeles. So yeah, but yeah, man, I'm excited that you're back, and excited that your back is getting a little bit better. When did you get injured, Rob? Was it a week back? See what I did there?
How long have you been working on that?
Literally, when I hurt my back X amount of years ago, my boss at my first job goes, when did you hurt that? About a week back. So anytime anybody has a back injury, I just recycle it.
Awesome. Yeah, so fingers crossed. I will be I'm aiming to be back like as normal next week. I think doing 2 hours tonight might be a bit much, hence why I'm just doing the news. But we're recording the Marigold Standard tomorrow, with that only being 1 show. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to do the entire show. And then, like I say, yeah, as we lead into Sapporo, which we're talking about, we've had the main event confirmed with an official match graphic, because as we all know, it is not official until we have a match graphic. That has now been confirmed. And also, of course, we have got Corrigan Hall to talk about as well. But before we get into any of that, Mr. Matt Turner, before we get into the absolute shed load of news that we have to talk about today, what, dear sir, is coming up on the Patreon this week?
Patreon, your Uncle MT with a side of Andy Hatter has been a busy boy this last week and change as we round up the month of June. the Summer of Starlight Kid alternate commentary, one of my favorite Starlight Kid matches of all time. We go to the quarterfinals of last year's 5-star Grand Prix in Shinjuku Face as Sai Kamitani takes on one Starlight Kid. Speaking of Andy Header, myself and Andy Header, we did our roundtable discussion. If Starlight Kid was to defend her Wonder Stardom Championship against 5 non-contracted Stardom wrestlers, who would we like to see? Now, Rob, you and a lot of our longtime listeners know me and Andy have a lot in common, and I was shocked that we had no crossover. So we did 5 each. So we had 10 completely different wrestlers. Wow. I was like, the fact that we didn't have any crossover was a darn near miracle. Now, we're in the month of July. That'll take us into our next subject, the Summer of One Soriano. But before we get into that, I want to do a little bonus thing. I need an excuse to watch some more Tomoka Inaba. So we just dropped my review of Tomoka Inaba in last year's 5-star Grand Prix, her very first appearance in the 5-star Grand Prix. So that is on your Patreon feed as well. We do have coming up, hopefully I forth with our good buddy Jordan Castle. I know I made mention last month that we're going to have him on the show for a what if we can fantasy book a wrestling show with Stardom wrestlers versus independent wrestlers throughout the world. So just because he's just insanely busy and he's all over the place, we have a tentative schedule for sometime next week. So hopefully the next week or so, that what if will be available. Again, this now takes us to July, the Summer of Soriano, our first alternate commentary. We will go back to Dream Queendom 2023 when Soriano wins the Wonder of Stardom Championship against Mirai. So that is going to be scheduled to be on your Patreon feed, I believe, on Monday. Also, what you can look forward to in the month of July, other than alternate commentaries from Soriano, is me and Andy Header are going to be doing a quick little review of the trilogy of matches between Wingori and Soripoi. They're 2 phenomenal matches at last year's Goddess of Stardom Tag League. Obviously, they had the match in regular play, and then in the playoffs, and then they had this match of the year candidate, in my opinion, the best tag match in all of wrestling at the conversion about 2 weeks.
Conversion.
He's back, folks. He is back. But so we're going to be breaking that down. I'm also going to be doing a review of Soriano, her review in the 2023 5-star Grand Prix, because it is 5-star season. So that is the what is to look forward to. Now, a roundtable discussion, and obviously, Rob, will talk off air. We would love to have you on this part of the roundtable discussion. The roundtable discussion, again, it is 5-star season, is what wrestler had the best final night in the history of the 5-star Grand Prix. I mean, you got Mayu in 2018. You have Hana Kimura in 2019. Utami in 2020. Syuri in 2021. You have Micah 2 years back-to-back. Even Sai Kamitani not winning the tournament last year. She had a great final night. So that it's going to be a really great discussion. And who did I get to bring on for said episode? Again, Rob, obviously we will talk off air. We can fit it in. We would love to have you on, but we got back the 3rd best looking man in all of Joshi. Yes, one Scotty Wrestling. He is back. He's going to be back on the podcast. Obviously, I want you because me and you are 1 and 2. So we may as well have the gold, the silver, and the bronze. Again, we're kind of going back and forth on the dates. So once we have it confirmed, we'll see if you want to be tagged in on that one. Speaking of tagging in, I had this one earlier confirmed today. I had this idea for what if. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Only one person I can tag in for our what if in the month of July. Again, it is Back to the Future Day, Rob. We're going to say if we had a DeLorean and we took one Sherry Martel, sensational Sherry, a wrestler 30 years ahead of her time, and put her in current day pro wrestling and made her an independent freelancer, what matches would we book Sherry Martel in current day pro wrestling? And you know who I'm getting. Allison Danger. Allison Danger. Yes, I said I have this idea. She's like, absolutely. We'll figure out date and time. I want to do that. So again, great stuff we had last month with Starlight Kid. We have some great stuff coming on here with Soriano. And then again, we're adding in something with Jordan Castle, something with Scotty Wrestling with the 5-star, and then just fantasy booking, Prime Sherry Martel and current day pro wrestling with Allison Danger. So just a lot of great stuff. Like, as I say just about every week, past, present, and future on the Stardom Cast Extra, brother.
Absolutely. And you can check out all of those episodes, patreon.com/the Stardom Cast. Thank you, Matt. I know you do a tremendous amount of work on the Patreon, the podcast in general, obviously, but the Patreon as well, which you've done a fantastic job of doing. And also just a quick thank you for keeping the podcast going whilst I was pretty much an invalid. So appreciate that.
Yeah, on air too. Big thanks to Andy Header, who has edited so many
Big up,
episodes.
Andy.
Yeah,
Big up, Andy.
big up Andy Header. I know he listens to the podcast, and he's been doing a lot of great stuff, helping me out with certain episodes. And then he's just like, "Hey, whenever you need something, text it and then write it up, and bing, bang, boom, like no issues." I mean, Andy Header is just one of the easiest going people on the planet. So again, thanks, Andy. I literally thank him all the time, and just generally being a great guy. But I just want to publicly just thank one Andy Header. Also, I know it's not a Patreon, but coming up this Sunday, my interview with Jazmin Allure, which I, again, as of this recording, I just recorded a few hours ago. That was a really great one. So we're on a roll with these interviews. We had Maya World on, obviously Alice in Danger. We had the former Jakara Jackson, Mara Sade, and our fantastic interview with Nixon Newell. So we're rocking and rolling, buddy. We are rocking and rolling on interviews, and we have a lot of other great stuff in the pipeline, folks. So just keep up the this is all for you, the fantastic listeners of the Stardom Cast and the Marigold Standard. That we got some great stuff in the pipeline, and hopefully we'll be able to pump out some more interviews, brother.
Absolutely. Let's delve into some news, and there's only really one place we can start this week, and that is with Syuri. She had a big announcement following the show on the 29th of June in Okayama, where basically she said she was going to take a hiatus from Stardom, basically take some time to recover from injury. A couple of niggling injuries. Obviously, you can see for those on YouTube, she had her elbow strapped up from the time back in Eve, and that was the start of June. So she's been suffering with quite a few injuries, and some obviously far before that. But also that she wanted to train up overseas and level up, should I say, overseas. Now, she did reference the fact that she was frustrated with the loss of the IWGP Women's Championship, which she lost at the Conversion against Sari, and promised to come back and reclaim it. It has since been confirmed that her final match will be at Korakuen Hall on the 6th of July against Rani Yagami. Obviously, we'll go through that Korakuen Hall show a little bit later on. But this is obviously a huge blow for Stardom. And I know we are an incredibly positive podcast. And obviously there are, this, if you want to take a positive slant on it, of course, this does mean that the likes of an Aya Sakura, a Sayaka Kurora, a Lady C, a Rani Yagami, a Tomoka Inaba even, have got the opportunity to ascend to that main event scene, to fill those boots just for, however long Syuri is out. However, you would be naive to look at this and not go, Jesus, in the space of 6 months, Stardom have lost Mayu, Tam, Mina, Micah, Syuri, Tekla, to a lesser extent, no offense, Tekla, but to a lesser extent. That's 5 wrestlers and 4 of your biggest names. And they're 4 people that you put into that 5-star Grand Prix and you think are going to be there or thereabouts. It's going to be very interesting to see what the structure of the 5-star Grand Prix is going to look like. I don't think for a moment that they're going to struggle to fill the spots, because for starters, Rina needs to be in that tournament without a shadow of a doubt. Aya Sakura is a shoe-in. Sayaka Kurora is a shoe-in. You've then got Bozilla as well. You've got Natsuko Tora, who needs to go back into the tournament after missing last year's. You've got a whole host of people that can go in to fill that void. Syuri, of course, is coming back as well from injury. So there's 5 names straight away. And that's without me really having to think. So that I'm not necessarily concerned about. And I'm not concerned about Stardom's in-ring product, because we know for a fact those names that I've just mentioned, Isakura, Sayaka, Kurora, the likes of a Tomoka Inaba, the likes of a Rani Yagami and Amisori, a Lady C, given the tap on the shoulder, we know they can go. However, in terms of proven ticket drawing wrestlers, that is a huge blow for Stardom. without a shadow of a doubt. Now, obviously, we wish nothing but the best for Syuri. We hope for a quick recovery, and we hope to see her in a Stardom ring, as soon as she is ready, as soon as she is happy, as soon as she wants to, and as soon as she is healthy. So that's the first and the most important thing. But there was a couple of ways to read the statement as well. I think a couple of people have said it reads as though she's frustrated with her booking, which, from an outsider looking in, I personally don't think that's what it is, but you could certainly see why, having chased the IWGP Women's Championship and then losing it after 46 days after one defense, after basically red-eyeing a flight to the UK in between, just FYI. You can certainly see why there would be frustration. However, I do think that this is just a chance to recover from injury, because Syuri is one of the few wrestlers in Stardom that I don't think has taken much time off. I know her mother passed away during the 2025 Star Grand Prix, and I think she only missed 2 matches. So there is, just like Micah has been forcing through that elbow injury for 3 years, she said. So there is every chance that this is just a case of, I need some time off, and this needs to be the time when it is. The leveling up overseas is an interesting one. I mean, obviously, Syuri is a fantastic wrestler. Whoever she steps up against in whatever company, she does work in. Obviously, Stardom have that relationship with the likes of AEW, with Ring of Honor, and people like that. She's going to have fantastic matches. But what are your thoughts about this? Because for me, the timing was a bit strange, with obviously the 5-star Grand Prix coming up. Now, I know it has been talked about with backstage staff. She has said that. And she then did release a little bit of a clarification through Stardom's English Twitter page. But that seemed to focus more on the hiatus from Stardom as opposed to injuries. So it's an intriguing statement, Matt.
Yeah, I think this is something that she just was looking to take time off because her body was so beat up. And I know a lot of people were really confused with the booking when Syuri defeated Syuri back at the conversion. And first of all, 5 1/4 stars, another Stardom match that has broken Big Dave's Stardom scale rating, with obviously Kamitani and Tam doing it 2 months prior at All-Star Grand Queendom. But it's just as soon as the match was over, I was like, oh, that was interesting. You're getting a great match. And then Syuri's cutting the promo, and then Syuri grabs the mic, and she basically grabs the belt and was basically saying, I'm coming back for it. I'm like, oh, they're clearly doing a third match. They sold out Syuriism back in March. They sold out this show. Again, no red belt, no white belt match, 2,500 people in Yoyogi National Stadium. That was the main event. So clearly there's a third match here for Syuri to win, and then it's going to be 1-1-1. And I mentioned this last week. And then eventually you can get to the 4th match whenever they want to. So it was funny because I think it was a day before she made the announcement she was taking time off. I was rewatching the Syuri versus Syuri match on my TV downstairs, and my wife was kind of watching a little bit with me. And I said, it's crazy the style that Syuri wrestles, that hard-hitting, believable style, that she hasn't missed much or any time since she's been in Stardom the last 5 years and change. I mean, she works, and again, look at how much her knees wrapped up, her elbows, just her neck, her shoulder. Again, we talk about her run in 2022 as the World of Stardom champion. Towards the end of that run, she was taped up like a mummy, like from head to toe, but still went out there and put on must-see banger matches. So I was kind of saying, wow, she's never really taken any time off. And then all of a sudden, the next morning I wake up and Sherry's like, yeah, after Cork and Hall, I'm going to be taking some time off. So my guess is she knew, I think, going into that match with Syuri, I think they all knew, like, we need to get the belt off Mayu. It's your last match in Stardom. So let's have Syuri, who's been our stalwart here for the last 5 years, one of the pillars, let her be the one to dethrone Mayu on that 2-year run. And basically Mayu's last match is putting Syuri over. So that I get, that I understand. I just think that going into that match, they knew that she was banged up. She knew she wanted to have time off. Let's make a story out of it. Let's put the belt on Syuri. Obviously, Syuri wanted to win that belt because it's IWGP, and obviously the Syuriism, the Inokiism, obviously Inoki is the person she looks up to the most. So it all makes sense. Let's make a story of it. And then even Syuri said, I'm going to come back and win the IWGP championship, which means she's going to come back to Stardom. So again, my thing is let her take time off, let her to heal. I get it. It's like the worst possible time because we have the 5-star coming up. And again, as you mentioned, no Tam, no Tekla, no Mina, no Mayu. And you're literally taking In my opinion, Mayu's the best in-ring performer in the history of the 5-star Grand Prix, and Syuri's right there. So now we have our first 5-star Grand Prix without basically the two aces of the 5-star Grand Prix. So yeah, it is really interesting. At the same time, let her take time to heal. When she comes back, it's going to be a big deal. My guess is she's probably going to come back, not wrestle, but I think she's going to make an appearance. And I mentioned this last week, or not last week, but I mentioned this, I think, to Andy Header off air. My guess is she's going to make an appearance on that final night of the 5-star Grand Prix. Like, oh, Syuri's back. And the one thing about her healing up, it's not like a Micah thing where it's like Micah needs surgery. She's going to be out from 6 to 8 months or whatever have you. She's just banged up and she needs time to heal all these injuries she's acquired after this hard hitting in your face style over the last 5+ years. So that's my thing. My whole thing is I'm going to level up. To me, like, leveling up is Japan. Like, that's as big as it gets. So I don't know where she's going to level up to, or how much more she can possibly level up, because she's Syuri, for goodness sakes. But I don't think it has anything to do with, oh, she's frustrated over the booking. I'm like, clearly this is the way they wanted to go. Clearly they knew this was going to happen 2 or 3 months out. And to me, it just makes sense. When she comes back, it is going to be a big deal. But again, let's look at all the positives. As we mentioned, look who's still going to be more than likely announced for this tournament: Azumi, Natsupoi, Starlight Kid, Mei Sarah, Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurora, Saya Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, Konami, Rina, probably both. There's a Bozilla. We're going to have Bozilla more than likely in this tournament. Maybe Akira. I mean, Suzu Suzuki. How can we forget? Sorry. Yeah, possibly Sorry. That's what I kind of wanted to get to, partner. I know, your time here is limited before you tag out. This is the main crux I wanted to talk to you about. Who do you see? You just mentioned Sorry. Is there 2 or 3 or 4 names that, again, as I mentioned before, the fact that they're doing a press conference for this whole entire tournament Saturday morning, and that they're going to have fans there, which I don't think they've ever done before. Because again, it's usually just announced on the middle of a pay-per-view that we're going to have. You remember a couple years ago, they had Natsupoi in the dryer when they were announcing things on the bracket. I totally agree. I think Sorry is going to be in said tournament. Are there any other people that we have not seen in Stardom you think are going to be in this tournament? Like somebody from a Sendai Girls or Tokyo Joshi Pro. Again, we're seeing all these wrestlers all over the world. Look at, again, we had Hazuki at Spark Joshi this past weekend. So we know there's a big working relationship with Stardom. Everybody wants Stardom wrestlers there, and everybody and the Stardom and the other wrestlers want to work for Stardom. Other than Sorry, so I'm assuming we're in agreement that Sorry is going to be in this tournament. Who else do you think is going to be in said tournament?
First of all, just quickly nipping back to Syuri, I do think, obviously, you're looking at her average. Her average is just under 100 matches a year for Stardom.
Those are hard-hitting matches too.
And those, obviously a lot of them are 6-women tags and things like that. But even so, that's going to take a toll on your body. She's 36 years old and she's wrestled 522 matches for Stardom. She didn't debut until the start of 2020. So, that's a lot of matches. That's a lot of wear and tear. I'm intrigued by the notion of the fact that this leveling up is taking place overseas, and it was explicit that it was overseas, which is why I agree to disagree, Matt. I don't think she'll make an appearance. I don't think she'll be back in Stardom until. I wonder if they'll keep her out till Dream Queendom.
That's where I think the Sorry match is going to happen, where they're going to get the belt, because again, you want to do 4,000 people, in that building, having that as a big match along with Saya Kamitani versus insert any wrestler in the world.
Does she need to come? Pardon me. Does she need to come back before then? I don't think so. I don't think Stardom gain anything by bringing her back before then. Especially because again, if she's taking time to heal for an injury, coming back at the end of the 5-star Grand Prix gives her a month, and that's it. And she said that she needs to recover from injuries and level up overseas. So I think there's going to be more time. I'm more intrigued as to whether this is going to be a tour of the Indies, like a mini excursion, or just whether she just needs some time away from Stardom,
wrestling in
general. Absolutely, that is a possibility. Looking obviously at your question, and this is something that I made very, very clear with the Dreamstar Grand Prix that we were talking about on Marigold a couple of weeks ago. I don't mind who comes in as long as they are not taking a place away from someone who deserves it from the Stardom roster. So, for example, if we get Sari in this tournament, which I absolutely think we will, because as good as this tournament is, I think there is a lack of star power. And that's no disrespect to Starlight Kids, to Azumi, to Sayori Ano, to Natsupoi, and certainly to Saya Kamitani, who is the biggest star in the company. But you are missing Mayu, Tam, Micah, as we've said countless times. I think Sari will be someone they bring in. I absolutely do think Bozilla will be in there. I think her debut in the company has come at a really, really, really good time. Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurora, and Rina have to be in that tournament. Especially Rina. Rina is the one for me, has to be in that tournament. In terms of outsiders, I mean, I'd love to see Maya World in there, obviously, because she's fantastic. And that match with Hazuki, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later, was absolutely fantastic. She proved over a WrestleMania week that, it was very much Maya World's world, and we are living in it. There's an argument for B. Priestley. We saw her at Spark Joshi with Kogama's injury. That's another thing as well, with Kogama being injured. She has been announced for the Korakuen Hall show, so hopefully the injury that kept her at Spark Joshi is nothing major. But yeah, the last thing Stardom needs yet another injury just before the fight.
That was another, because I was going to kind of insert this in. It's the perfect way to insert in with FWC being worldwide FWC. A lot of people thought they'd be missing time with Stardom. So we got the 5-star coming in, and we didn't even mention Hazuki. So a lot of people are like, I wonder if Hazuki's going to miss as well, but they've already announced that they're back in Japan and they're on that Korakuen show coming up this weekend. So do you think that, obviously Kogama with the knee, we don't know, but do you think Hazuki's going to be in this tournament, partner? That's one thing we didn't talk about.
I think if they got a fully fit roster and a sort of your stars weren't missing, I think you could afford to give Hazuki time to go and do other things. We've got her at Sendai Girls against Dash Chisako on the 19th of July. We can afford to give them time to do other things. I think with the amount of people that are out injured, I think Hazuki is a shoo-in. I personally would put Hazuki into any tournament anyway, because the match caliber you're going to get. She's not exactly no days off Hazuki. I mean, she's not going to win the tournament because God hates everything. But again, she's, in terms of match quality, there are very few people that touch her in Stardom. But yeah, I think you have got enough on the Stardom roster to fill those spaces. Again, Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurora, Sari, Bozilla, Rina,
Yuna Mizumori again. Yeah.
Yuna Mizumori again. Of course, you probably won't have Manami this time. I'm just trying to think who else. Tekla obviously is being replaced in the tournament as well. Lady C, I think, is in desperate need of a breakout performance. You've got Amisori, who's going to come back. We thought she was going to have a really good tournament before 2024, and then she obviously sustained that knee injury. And then, of course, on top of absolutely everything else, does Ruaka stay in the tournament? Because she, after all, was a last-minute replacement for Natsuko Tora. Does Rani Yagami stay in the tournament? Because she was a last-minute replacement for Amisori. There is enough, but is there enough stars? And the thing is, you look around. Yes, potentially Sari. Yes, potentially B. Priestley. But B. Priestley is not on the level of a Tam, of a Mina, of a Micah, of a Mayu. And again, as long as she's not taking a place, if B. Priestley's in the tournament and Rina isn't, I think that's ridiculous. I think it's, I think it's awful booking. But if she's in and you've still got your likes of Rina in the tournament, Aya Sakura in the tournament, Sayaka Kurora in the tournament, yeah, I think she'd be a great addition. Sari, I think, is in the tournament. She's made too many references to being in the tournament to not be in the tournament. And yeah, as for Syuri, obviously, as we mentioned before, wish her nothing but the best. Hope she finds what she's looking for, as Bono says for you too. But most importantly, I hope she's fit, healthy, returns when she wants to return and when she can. And I don't think they'll rush her back. I really don't, because I do think that she needs a lot of time. She's going to recover from bangs. We don't obviously know how serious the injuries are or even where the injuries are. but we need to give her the time to recover and to do that leveling up as well. So it's going to be interesting. This podcast this time next week is going to be very, very interesting with the announcement of how they're going to do the tournament, whether it's going to be 4 blocks again, how many wrestlers are going to be in the tournament, are they going to do qualifiers? Again, obviously someone we haven't talked about at all is Momokogo.
I was ready to
She's
say that.
another
Yeah.
one. She was in the qualifiers last year. She didn't make it into the tournament. Lady C was in the qualifiers last year. She didn't make it into the tournament. Ruaka was lost and was still in the tournament. So ultimately, it didn't matter too much. But there we are. It's going to be an interesting tournament. It really is. I don't think Syuri was on many people's lists to win the tournament this year. But an interesting statistic is there is only one previous winner that could possibly be in this tournament, and that's Suzu Suzuki. There are no previous winners otherwise, which is madness. When you consider the last couple of years, we've had at least 2 previous champions, 2 previous tournament winners. This is the first year in God knows how long where there's only been 1 previous winner in the tournament field.
Yeah, again, it's you even look at some of the other members of Mila Vida Loca. Obviously, we haven't seen Aoki and Rina Yamashita as much as we would like. I'd love to see Rina Yamashita in this tournament. I think she would really, really excel. So hopefully, again, those are wrestlers that they kind of have locked down to contracts. Kind of just going off on the B. Priestley thing. Me and you were texting about an hour before we hit the play button, and I even mentioned it on Talk Joshi, which actually just dropped today, folks, that I think B. Priestley is going to be in this tournament. She's back. And she's already saying she's back to the moniker of Top Gaijin. So she's already calling herself the Top Gaijin, on the New Japan shows and the independents and everything that she's doing. And she hasn't gone back to Stardom yet. I think B. Priestley is going to be in this tournament. And I think she does bring some star power. She's former World of Stardom champion. I know there's some people.
Certainly.
I know there's some people that don't like her run as World of Stardom champion. I don't get it because I think she was great as World of Stardom champion. Now, is she on a Mayu, Syuri, Kamitani, like those levels? No, but her run was really good. She had great matches. And not only that, she was wrestling on SmackDown before she got released. They're doing 1.5 million viewers. So, and I know the booking didn't do her any favors. That's not on her. That's, not her fault. But at the same time, she's bringing a different star power to the thing. And again, she had a great match with Jazmin Allure on the Spark Joshi show, which again, folks, Talk Joshi, I did a full review of said show where it was when I talked to Jazmin, again, that interview will be released this weekend. She brought out World of Stardom champion B. Priestley in that match. And I haven't seen that version of B in quite some time. And I'm like, oh boy, howdy. Like if she is coming back like that to Stardom with this roster, I'm super excited for it. Now, obviously, we mentioned a lot of names. There's one name, Rob, that you did not mention in said tournament. And again, I think it's a big deal because they have fans coming to this thing coming up on Saturday, and they're making it a big deal. And I'm telling you who I think is going to show up on this press conference, Rob Goodwin, on Saturday. Hold on, dramatic pause. The return of Tam Nakano is going to happen this Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Of course it is. Of course. Can you imagine? It'd be very interesting. We are running very short of wrestlers. So, Tam, I know you've only been retired for 3 months, but come back.
I don't think she's going to wrestle, but I think there might be a possibility where she kind of maybe shows her face. I think there's maybe a 40% possibility. Yeah, because she has been radio silent on social media and everything. I think maybe she just kind of shows up at the thing as like an ambassador or something like that. And then obviously we know what's going to happen. Kamitani is going to win the tournament and then nominate Tam for her challenger. And as me and you are going to be there in Sumo Hall at the end of the year, Tam wins back the red belt and becomes the only 3-time champion as tears will be falling from the sky. Rob Goodwin.
Honestly. Moving on then. Spark Joshi ran Ignite Texas at the Baywell Community Center in Texas on the 29th of June. Battled some absolutely hellacious weather conditions by the sounds of it to produce a really enjoyable show. Unfortunately, Koguma was scheduled to be on that show against the aforementioned Jazmin Allure, but injury put paid to that. They were able to bring in B. Priestley, which I think is a great last-minute replacement considering the accolades that she has. Obviously main evented by Hazuki and Marigold, which was a predictably fantastic match. And overall, Matt, despite the production issues that they had, which was no fault of their own whatsoever. I think this was a tremendous show, a really fun show to watch. Flew by, some really good performances as well. I thought the opening tag was fun. I thought the Yuka Sakazaki tag was really good as well. The three-way, I thought it was a bit of a surprise actually that Erica dethroned Vert Vixen in her hometown already for that for the I think it was the Pacific title, wasn't it, that one? But overall, I thought a really, really fun show and another really big feather to put in the cap of Spark Joshi.
Yeah, I was trying to watch this one live as I was off work on Sunday. One of my buddies, they had a surprise 50th birthday party for him. And as we came home, like, oh, the show's starting. I can watch it live. And me and you were kind of going back and forth. You're like, dude, my feed is terrible. And I'm like, no, they put something out on social media. There's a big storm that they're having issues with the feed. But once it's done and over with, they're kind of re-edit it and repackage it. And again, if you haven't seen it yet, that I watched it a day or two ago and it was flawless. They basically got all the cameras that were inside and they re-edited it, and the sound was better, the video was better. It plays off flawlessly. And again, excellent. Folks, on Triller TV, $9.99. The main event alone is well worth your money. I know that Hazuki and Maya World were going to have a great match, but that really blew away my expectations. It was Cork and Hall Hazuki, and Maya basically showed that she can go blow for blow with Hazuki. Really, really was able to not only hang with her, but like Hazuki really had, again, like her Cork and Hall working boots on. And again, Maya World is only months away from a big tour, whether it's Stardom, whether it's Marigold. I think it's whatever Japanese promotion reaches out to her first is where she's going to go, because she's just phenomenal. And someone that's been wrestling less than 3 years just blows my mind how good Maya World is. And my second favorite match of the night was B. Priestley versus Jazmin Allure. I thought that was a really, really great match. And yeah, I mentioned the three-way for the Pacific Championship was really well. It makes me want to see a singles match with Vert Vixen and Miyu Yamashita, because they beat the crap out of each other in the best way possible. And yeah, that special tag match was really good. And I mentioned again on Talk Joshi, I did a full review. Yuka and Saki had really great chemistry together, considering it's like basically Tokyo Joshi Pro versus Colors. Obviously, I know Yuka is now part of AEW. That was a really, really great match, but I thought everybody stood out. Everybody looked good. Every match was great. Again, less than $10. The show's about 2 hours long. A really, really great show. And again, I can't put over that Jazmin Allure versus B. Priestley match enough, and as well as, again, must-see main event with Maya World versus Suzuki. Really terrific stuff from our friends over at Spark Joshi.
Yeah, really fun show. Absolutely go and check it out. Full review of the show is available on our free feed with Matt on Talk Joshi, episode 8. We move on then, and our first match has been made official for Sapporo Rendezvous 2025 on July 21st. And as we predicted, it is going to be Saya Kamitani versus Natsupoi. Makes sense. Obviously, I think Saya Kamitani working her way through all the Cosmic Angels after retiring their leader is an interesting storyline. I think Natsupoi is a perfect defense for Saya. Both women are going to put on an absolute banger of a match. I don't think for a moment that this is going to be a title change, especially as this is a year since the formation of Hate, a year since the Saya Kamitani turn. I don't think they're going to celebrate the anniversary by the biggest ticket drawing person they've had in God knows how long dropping the belt, even if it is to Natsupoi, who is fantastic. Great match, I'm sure, Matt. I'm sure we'll be talking about it as one of the matches of the year. And I'm sure it's going to bring in a lot of tickets, to be perfectly honest, because we saw with the independent show at Ota Ward just how popular Natsupoi is. We have seen from all of the shows that Saya Kamitani has been on top of just how popular she is as well. She has also just been I think she's returning to the TV show where she was really, really popular, and she's been officially confirmed as a returning guest on that as well. So even more popularity for her. I think it's going to be a great match, and I think having this on top and what looks like Wingori versus BMI 2000 as well, I think there's going to be a Hate theme through this show with it being a year anniversary. I think this is going to be a great match, Matt.
Rob, is this the same building that they ran the Rendezvous shows? Because I remember they had a low attendance, and I remember you saying, well, it's because it's basically a town that they're trying to get up. They're trying to get more people into town. That pro wrestling doesn't draw really big in that
Hokkaido.
area. Yeah, so with that
unless you're New Japan.
Yeah. Okay. So unless you're the exception, which is New Japan. So I looked at the tickets just a day or two ago after the official match graphic because I know We Are Stardom said the match is official. Like, no, it's not. We
No,
need a
it's
match
not.
graphic. And there it is, Rob. But I looked at the tickets about a handful of hours after the match graphic went up, and the tickets are just about sold out. The tickets are just about sold out with just a few more weeks build. We may be getting Starlight Kid versus Soriano. That is it's kind of funny because it's Starlight Kid that's challenging Soriano. She's the champion. Soriano's like, no, I don't know. I don't know if I'm good enough. So I don't know where they're going. I would like maybe to see, just because we're still coming off we're still coming off a high from the conversion. I would like to see maybe Soriano doesn't think she's good enough not for a challenge, and they do Suzu Suzuki because Suzu did pin Starlight Kid in the middle of the ring at the conversion. So maybe that's one way to go. But again, considering the fact that they kind of had a low draw last year on this show, and we're putting Natsupoi, again, a proven ticket drawer, against Sai Kamitani, arguably the biggest ticket drawer in the history of the company, considering what she's been able to do over the last 7 or 8 months on top. And it looks like the venue is just about sold out. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the rest of this card shapes up, as it's literally our appetizer as we go into the 5-star Grand Prix. But I completely agree with you. Sai Kamitani is going to retain. I just don't see any way they're taking the belt off her until at the very earliest Dream Queendom. I just, again, when your champion's hot and making everybody else better and drawing money, you never want to, unhand the hot hand. But her and Natsupoi actually just went back and watched their championship match 3 years ago for the Wonder of Stardom Championship back in February 2022. And it was a phenomenal match. Natsupoi is a better wrestler now than she was then, and she was great in 2022. Kamitani, I don't know if she's a better wrestler now than she was in 2022, just because as great as she is now and she's terrific, that 2022 Wonder run is just nuts. It really, really is. And at the same time, she's a bigger character, bigger ticket draw. Again, you made mention that she's going to be on that weekly TV show. I think that weekly that TV show pretty much every week. But regardless, I expect this to be another match of the year candidate from both these wrestlers. It's going to be an absolute banger. Super excited to see it. Super excited to see how the rest of this card is going to shape up, because they did a good job on a random Wednesday building up championship matches. We're like, how come they didn't do it at Corkin, or how come they didn't do it this pay-per-view? It's like, no, we just did a random show on a Wednesday in Osaka where we built up like 5 title matches. It's like, oh, all right,
Suddenly out of absolutely nowhere, just title matches after title matches. And one obviously that isn't confirmed is Soriano and Starlight Kid, as you mentioned, Matt, with Soriano's seeming lack of confidence in herself. I still think we get that match. Obviously, they wouldn't be teasing it if it wasn't going to happen. BMI 2000 versus Wingori looks very, very obvious as well. You've still got that Momo Watanabe and Azumi tease as well for the New Japan Strong Women's title. You've got Bozilla, who's thrown her hat into the ring after pulverizing Starlight Kid with that power bomb. Obviously, we haven't podcasted together since Bozilla's debut in Stardom, but what a fantastic surprise that was. That really did come out of absolutely nowhere. But that's going to be a really great run. I think she is probably going to be in the 5-star this year, and that's going to be exciting. Bozilla versus Suzuki, anyone? Absolutely. But yes, very excited for this show. And again, Saya Kamitani versus Natsupoi is a proven good formula. Both these wrestlers complement each other very well. And you're right, man. Natsupoi potentially is a better wrestler than she was in 2022. And I think Saya Kamitani is a different wrestler. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it all comes from that character. Saya Kamitani was a great wrestler in 2022, but I think was just almost a default babyface. Whereas here, she is something that is so wonderfully unique on this roster. In wrestling in general, absolutely. I know she's at the top of a lot of people's Wrestler of the Year awards. We are at the middle of the year, absolutely. And you're feeling the same conversation, irrelevant of what you think of these people. If she's in the same conversation as people like Will Ospreay, then she's doing a very, very good job. And again, the amount of tickets that she's drawing is truly phenomenal. Moving on then, as I mentioned before, the full card has been announced for the upcoming Korakuen Hall show on the 6th of July. We mentioned it, of course, before. Syuri is going to be going on a hiatus. Before she does her last matches on this show, she'll be taking on her protege, Rana Yagami. What a rub for Rana that is. We've also got 2 title matches as well on this card, both set up in Osaka because, of course, they are.
On a Wednesday.
on a Wednesday, on a random Wednesday. Future of Stardom Championship match. Hina, the champion, defending against Akira Kuragane. Bozilla is banned from ringside, by the way, for that match. I don't think that will happen, and I don't think you do either, Matt. If it's stipulated that someone needs to stay away, they aren't staying away.
Double down.
Yeah, mate. I will stand by the fact that when I said they've made Saya Kamitani the second in that Micah match for a reason, they never mention seconds as much as they are mentioning it here. Talk about telegraphed. And then, of course, the Artist of Stardom Championships as well. Neo Genesis, Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Starlight Kid are going to be defending against the hate team of Konami, Rina, and Artist Clown. Elsewhere on the card, we have got Natsupoi, Syuri, Hanan, and Saya Ida against the hate team of Saya Kamitani, Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Ruaka, which again looks like a preview of both the Red Belt match and the Goddess of Stardom title matches that we look like we're going to get at Sapporo. Meisero will be taking on Emma Maishima in a singles match. That makes sort of builds on the fact that Emma seems to be auditioning for a place in Neo Genesis. So that seems to be what we are doing there. I believe it was the post-match of the 29th show where they talked about how Meisero wanted Emma in Neo Genesis, and it looks like this might be, like, say, her audition. Saki Kashima, Yuna Mizumori, Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurora, and Uriah Himi will be taking on Hazuki Koguma, Waka Tsukiyama, Hanako, and Rian. The God's Eye team of Amisori, Lady C, and Kyoka Kotatsu will be taking on the Mavida Loka team of a returning Suzu Suzuki, Itsuki Aoki, and Bozilla. And then your final match in singles action, Momokogo versus Kikyo Furusawa. That's going to be airing on Stardom World Live, July 6th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 a.m. British Standard Time. Couple of things to take from this card, Matt. First things first, obviously 2 title matches, which is great. Second thing, and that Syuri and Rana match is going to be fantastic, I'm sure. Third, I think Emma Maishima is a great fit for Neo Genesis. However, I said this on Twitter, I think it's ridiculous that we are now at 120-something days since Meisero has defended the High Speed Championship. Especially as we introduced a new rule set at the start of the year, and it has been defended twice in 6 months with the new rule set. Now, at this point, are we just struggling for challenges? Are we struggling for people to fit that structure for the belt? Because if we are, it's pointless having it. It's like the SWA belt where we were running out of people to actually challenge for that belt. Is it time for us to retire the high speed belt? Because ultimately, if Meisero drops it, who does she drop it to? And if she drops it to anyone, for argument's sake, let's say Rina, who does Rina defend it against? Bukikin Death again? Saki Kashima again? And then we haven't really got anyone that has stepped up, and I think we were spoilt somewhat when we had the quartet of Azumi, Starlight Kid, Koguma, and Natsupoi all in the high-speed division, and we could just basically pivot between those 4. Because at the moment, I think that Stardom are struggling somewhat with knowing who to put in that position, because the challenger that both of us highlighted as a potential challenger for Meisero, Matt, was Momokogo. And Momokogo is the other person in a throwaway singles match on this card. You know, the rest of Neo Genesis are in an Artist of Stardom championship match. This would have been the perfect chance to have a Meisero high-speed title match.
Yeah, it's really weird. You know, I know a lot of people, they like Okada's booking. They don't like it. I think, you know, what he's been able to do, especially with the depletion of the roster over the last, year plus. Again, the names we've mentioned 10 times before. Then you throw in Utami, Mirai, Sakurai, so on and so forth. What he's been able to do has been pure genius. But like this, I think this is the one thing that he's really missing on, is this high-speed championship, because it's like, okay, we're going to enforce a new rule set. Okay, hey, all right, we're doing something new. You should have a plan behind it. Okay, we have Saki Kashima, which wasn't a home run. It was, it was maybe a hit by a pitch. And then you had Fukin Death, which actually was a really good match, and that was it. But you're absolutely right. You have these 2 out of 3 falls. It's going 10 minutes max between the 2 out of 3 falls. So it's not like, well, we're pressed for time. Like, it's only going 10 minutes max with the entrances 12. So it's like, put Momokogo. Emma has shown that she can do a high-speed championship match. To have something with even in Neo Genesis, where it's like Azumi's like, maybe, if you have nothing doing with Azumi, be like, Azumi's like, I'm going to challenge for that belt again. And then it's going to go to a 10-minute time limit trial. But who wouldn't want to see Azumi and Mei Seira wrestle a high-speed match for 10 minutes? It would be great. You can have have Koguma, Hazuki, and just do the old TLD. Who cares? I just want to see this belt defended. And the biggest crime is that's on Mei Seira, who is a next level professional wrestler. That it's okay, clearly this rule set, it highlights what she does maybe better than just about any wrestler on planet Earth. And you're not doing anything with it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Here is Cork and Hall. Again, we are weeks away from the 5-star Grand Prix. Mei Seira is obviously going into the tournament as high-speed champion. Why not highlight her against a Momokogo and Emma? Anybody, really anybody. And again, if nobody can kind of keep up with that style, just have Mei beat them in like 6 minutes in 2 straight falls. Like, let's just get some defenses so we can highlight this belt. This belt is like the least defended belt we've seen all year. The artist belts, they've been doing a great job with them. The future belt, really great matches. Obviously, Wonder and World, excellent stuff. Goddess has been the best it's been in a long time, which is saying something. But it's like, with that belt, again, it's not like it's on a wrestler that can't hang in that style. It's Mei Seira. She's phenomenal. And you kind of wonder if we were to put like today Mei Seira into that 2021, 2022 Azumi, Koguma, Natsupoi, Starlight Kid, how insane that division would be. She's the backbone of that division, but she's not able to showcase what she can do because we're not having any defenses.
It feels like a waste of a belt at the moment. Yeah. And Stardom have a lot of belts. And at the moment, I don't really see what the point of having this high-speed title is, really. It's a shame. But again, the 3rd of March was the last time this belt was defended in Korakuen Hall against Fukigen Death. We even had Mei Seira challenge for a different belt at Korakuen Hall, and this person beat Mei Seira. I think it was it Luvia? Yeah, it was Huvia in
the Cinderella tournament. Yeah.
So we actually had her beat Mei Seira for the CMLL Japan Women's Championship, and then there was no rematch, so it was a bit pointless. It was like, well, why not have Mei Seira then beat her in the High Speed Championship just to sort of even things out, give Mei Seira a little bit of momentum? Because of everyone on this roster, Mei Seira is one of the most underutilized wrestlers. She does really feel like she is treading water. And again, that's not her fault. It's just a case of, I think there's a lack of people that they can put in that division, or at least that's the perception anyway. I'm sure the card's going to be great, and obviously we spent quite a bit of time being a bit negative about the booking of the high-speed title, rightly so. But this artist belt match is going to be great because the more things that Rina is in the main event of, the better. Again, future Stardom Championship match is going to be really good. Akira Kurogane has really proven over the last couple of weeks that she is a really, really, really solid commodity, especially in this partnership with Bozilla over the last couple of shows, which has been very entertaining. Bozilla taking this really protective role of Akira Kurogane is really funny. Anyway, let's move on, because we also have New Blood 23 announced. This will be taking place at Tokyo Square in Itabashi, which is where New Blood 22 took place. All the tickets have sold out for this show as well, it's worth pointing out. However, they did announce this about New Blood 22 as well, and there was only 153 in attendance. So be interesting to see the number, because I know that Stardom have drawn 180 to this building before. So keep an eye on that attendance number. Obviously, the main event of the show will be the New Blood Tag Team Championships match with Rice or Bread, Waktsukiyama, and Hanako, or Wanako, the champions, making the defense against Momokogo and Uriah Hime, who go now by the name Peach and Lily, because obviously Momokogo, Peach, Uriah Hime, Lily. There you go. But this is also a bit of an audition, as we mentioned with with Emma Maishima against Mei Seira. This is an audition, it seems, for Uriah Himi in Stars as well. That was something else that was teased over that run of shows as well. Also on that card, then we have got Emma Maishima versus Rina, Kikyo Furusawa versus Kyoko Katatsu, who makes her return, which is always good. Rian and Hanoka versus Saran and Asuka Goda. And then we've got a six-woman tag match, which is acting as a preview of that Future Stardom Championship match I've just mentioned. Hina, Lady C, and Rani Yagami of God's Eye against Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurora, and Akira Kuragane. Matt, thoughts?
Really good show. I mean, every match looks really, really intriguing, especially that main event. And I mentioned this last week on the Stardom Cast. Momo Kogo and Uriah Himi have instant chemistry. They look great in their tag matches that they had last week on the shows that I reviewed. And again, Wanako, rice or bread, whatever you want to call them, they really, really upped their game. And I mentioned this on Twitter with obviously Mina leaving to go to AEW, Xena and Micah on the shelf with injuries. That we were kind of like, oh boy, poor Hanako, Rion, and Waka. Like EXV is kind of like left for dead. They're just like kind of looked at each other and was like, let's step up. And all of their tag matches and six-person tag matches have been really, really good. And I hope they get a shot at the artist belt because they've really leveled up their game. And I'm really excited for the tag match again because Waka and Hanako have really great chemistry. Like I said, Momo Kogo and Uriah Himi have instant chemistry. I hope that Uriah Himi does pull the trigger on her going to Stars because I think she's a perfect fit for that company. Kyoto Katatsu coming back. I'm obviously all for that. This looks like a really, really solid card. And again, partner, I'm assuming this is going to be free on YouTube.
I've not heard anything to the contrary.
Okay, good, sir. And again, this is tomorrow, 4th of July. So good way to start off the holiday with some fantastic wrestling over at New Blood.
Yeah, as though you aren't doing enough on that weekend, my friend. Speaking of good wrestling, it has been announced that there will be even more Stardom participation on the Sendai Girls Korakuen Hall show on July 19th. We talked a couple of weeks ago about how it had been confirmed that Hazuki will be taking on Dash Chisako on this show in a hardcore rules match. The rest of the card has been announced with Stardom participation. Sayaka Kurora will be taking on Manami in singles action. We've also got a rematch of the Sendai Girls Junior Championship with Aya Sakura defending once again against Yuna. Of course, Aya Sakura defeated Yuna on the 20th of June to retain her belt. This is Yuna's rematch. Feels like a match we've seen quite a few times recently, Aya Sakura versus Yuna, but I'm not complaining because that match from the 20th of June was very, very good. And I'll be interested to see if this is where Aya Sakura drops the belt to Yuna, because if Yuna loses again, it does feel very much like, well, where does she go from here? Rest of the card, just before I throw to you, Matt, the main event has been announced. Sendai Girls World Tag Team Championships. The Red Energy team of Mikari Iwata and Miyuki Takase will be taking on Team 200 kg, Chihiro Hashimoto and Yu. That's going to be fantastic. We've also got Ryo Mizunami, Chichi, and Unagi Sayaka taking on Hiroya Matsumoto, Zones, and Yura Suzuki. And then Ajikong and Veni will be taking on a reunited Bob Momo Banana, Uriah Oka, and the returning Mia Momono, who will have returned 2 days prior against Mirai and Kazuna Tanaka in tag team action, which we will be talking about tomorrow on the Marigold Standard. But Matt, a typically enjoyable card on the cards, pardon the pun, from Sendai Girls. I'm particularly interested in this Aya Sakura and Yuna match because, again, as I mentioned, it's a rematch of one we have just seen. Still excited for the match. Do you think, though, this is where Yuna has to get one over on Aya Sakura?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Aya in Sendai Girls for a little bit. She's going to be a little busy. Again, we're imagining she's going to be one of the participants in the 5-star Grand Prix and something that they're going to look to push post 5-star Grand Prix because Aya's just fantastic. So, yeah, I totally agree. This whole entire show looks really, really good. I believe this is in Korakuen, correct? I believe this is.
It is. Yeah.
This is the return to Korakuen. And I've already had people asking me, and I've already confirmed it with one Andy Header. We are absolutely covering the show for Talk Joshi because, well, I mean, we do talk a lot of Sendai Girls on Talk Joshi because Sendai Girls, it's great, and we have a lot of Stardom participation in Sendai Girls, but just Andy Header's new favorite tag team is the Bob Momo Banana, and going up against Veni and Aja Kong, and that's not even the main event. The main event again, Red Energy versus Team 200K.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have Hazuki and Dash Chisako in a hardcore match in Korakuen Hall. And then you're looking here at Manami versus our Cinderella tournament winner from just a few months ago in Sayaka Kura. This is a loaded show. Super excited for it. Yeah, this is one that me and Andy will be covering on a future episode of Talk Joshi.
Moving on then, just another couple of bits of news. We have finished the block stages of the Catch the Wave tournament with Hazuki going to the top of the block by going to a time limit draw with Yuka Miyazaki. We had Ronnie Agami also go through from the Saturn block at the top of the block, having beaten Yura Suzuki. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good a news for Akira Kuragani, who lost today to her Mavida Loca partner, Itsuki Aoki, to finish with, I believe, finish at bottom of the block. So unfortunate for her, but a good learning experience, I am sure. Just a little bit of an update there for you. And then finally, Matt, I couldn't remember if I'd sent this to you to talk about last week, but we'll talk about it now because why not? Just before the pay-per-view, the Stardom Sapporo pay-per-view, Hate have announced that they will be holding a first anniversary celebration to celebrate 1 year of Hate, 1 year of the unit's formation. This will be taking place at the Asti Hall with tickets available now. There will also be Q&A, appearances from all the members and photograph opportunities. All 6 of the pictured women, Saya Kamitani, Natsuko Tora, Rino Ruaka, Momo Watanabe, and Konami, they have all been confirmed to attend. Not sure about Azusa Inaba or Fukigen Death at the time of recording. Of course, what is a Hate anniversary show without Death Clown? I mean, it's almost despicable. It's almost disgusting, but there we are.
I think it's a surprise appearance, Rob. You can't give everything up front. You know, you can't have all the birthday presents all at once. You kind of got to lean back and just be like, oh, this was great, but it's missing something. What was it missing? And all of a sudden you unwrap the big present, which is an alien clown. So
absolutely, and why the hell not? But ladies and gentlemen, that does wrap up the news for today. Don't forget, you can find all of that news at talkjoshi.com, as well as all the news coming out of Marigold, all of our archived episodes, and all of that good stuff. Matt Turner, we've managed to keep it just over, an hour. So I will take my leave from you, my friend. I hope you're doing well, and I shall see you tomorrow for the recording of Marigold Standard. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I shall speak to you soon.
Hey, buddy, real quick, just another reminder to send me the notes. Literally, as soon as you get off.
Don't you worry.
This way, I know I have to remind you. That's what teammates do. I understand. I understand. So while you're doing that, I'm actually, as soon as you click off and you send me those notes, I'm going to give some fantasy booking of matches I want to see in this year's 5-star Grand Prix. But brother, thanks for hanging out with me for an hour. I hope your back was able to hold up, and I'll be in touch with you in a few hours, buddy.
Yep. Just let me know when you finish recording. It's a bit sore, ladies and gentlemen, but there we are. Right. Anyway, peace out. See you later.
Thanks, buddy. So, all right, folks, here's basically what I would like to see in this year's 5-star Grand Prix, as I don't know. Oh, there I am. There I is. While Rob is giving me the notes for these next 3 shows. The number 1 match I wanted to see was Saya Kamitani versus Syuri. Obviously, we're not getting that. So I'm going to go with probably my number 1 match I want to see is Syuri versus Tomoka Inaba. Saya Kamitani, I'm going to try not to overlap. So Saya Kamitani versus Soriano. That's a match I want to see. I want to see Starlight Kid and Izumi. We've never seen them in the 5-star Grand Prix. I think that 2 of them, I think, would be absolutely fantastic. So I think that would be a great match and kind of pretty much a must-see match as well. So I think also, too, another match that I would like to see, as I'm trying to retrieve Rob's notes here, folks. So bear with me. Another match that I would like to see would be Mei Sarah versus Azusa Inaba. I think that would be an absolute terrific kind of underneath match that a lot of people are really be clamoring for. So again, a lot of really, really great stuff we can possibly see in the 5-star Grand Prix. Momo Watanabe versus Bozilla. That is a match that I really, really hope that they get paired up in the same blocks. I want to see Hanan versus Saida. I would like to see Wingori, the tag team of the year. I would like to see them in opposite blocks against each other. Again, just really, really great stuff. So again, folks, just the stuff that we are potentially could be seeing in the 5-star Grand Prix is going to be certainly next level. So folks, got the notes. Without any further ado, let's go to the show on the 27th again. Oh, sorry. Let me go back over here. That actually is not going to work. So I need to go pull them up on my phone. So I'm going to vamp on more matches that I do want to see in this year's 5-star Grand Prix. So let's talk about also, let's go into one Konami. I would love to see Konami versus the Kyoto Kutatsu. If Kyoto Kutatsu is in the 5-star Grand Prix, I think that that might be something really, really interesting to see, would be Kyoto Kutatsu versus Konami. So, okay, folks, apologies. We do have the notes. Here we go. Attendance notes. The attendance. We're going to go to the show Friday, the 27th of June. We're going to go to the attendance in the Kochi Gymnasium in Kochi was 405 people. This is the 4th time that Stardom has run the venue, with this being a 1% or a 10% increase. The last time they ran the venue was 358 people on April 30th. This marks the 2nd highest attendance Stardom has drawn to the venue, as the previous was in June of 2023, where they drew 411 people. So again, a really great number for Stardom, improving about 50 people on the last time they ran back about 3 months ago. Quick results are as follows. 6-woman tag team. The Stars trio of Hanan, Saida, Momokogo defeating the Hate trio of Natsukatora, Ruaka, and Azusa Inaba, where Saida pins Ruaka via the Itabashi in 9 minutes and 25 seconds. 3-way dance sees Saki Kashima, and one of the funniest matches you'll ever see, get a win over Azumi and Emma Maisha, when basically Saki Kashima steals the win over Azumi by pinning Emma. A really great, fun match where she has Azumi basically do all the dirty work and pushes Azumi out of the way after the double foot stomp. Just a really, real fun stuff. Neogenesis of Starlight Kid, Mei Seira, and Miyu Amasaki defeating the team of Soriano, Uriah Hime, and Kyoko Furusawa, when it's Starlight Kid forcing Kyoko to tap out via the Black Tiger leg killer submission in 11 minutes and 47 seconds. 6-woman tag action sees the God's Eye trio of the return, Tomoka Inaba, and Rana Yugami defeating EXV of Waka, Hanako, and Rion, when Rana Yugami is able to hit the beach strike on Rion and get 3 count. Tag team action is up next. God's Eye in the semi-main C getting a win over Bozilla and Akira Kuragami, when Lady C pins Akira via the chokeslam. Again, this was a really, really great match. And the main event, must-see 8-woman tag match. The Hate team of Sai Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, Konami, and Rina defeat the Cosmic Angels team of Natsupoi, Yuna Mizumori, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Kurora, when it's Sai Kamitani pinning Natsupoi with the Star Crusher. Again, building up their matchup coming up in just a few weeks' time. Folks, let's go through the Sports Center. Style results. Again, we start match numero uno. Saida, Hanan, Momokogo getting the win over Natsukatora, Ruaka, and Azusa Inaba. We start the match and the show off with a Hate jump, and then we get a Hate brawl. We pitch Hanan back in the ring. We get some heat onto one Hanan, the winner of last year's Cinderella tournament. We get some great stuff with Hanan and Azusa Inaba. Azusa really starts breaking down Hanan's knee. Hanan's really have to make a fiery comeback on one Azusa Inaba. Momokogo, she comes in and cleans house. They do a great job spotlighting Momokogo. Again, another wrestler I would like to see in this year's 5-star Grand Prix. Ruaka, her and Saida have a really great exchanges. Again, we're kind of building up to their coming up Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championship match that we're going to be seeing soon with BMI 2000 versus Wingori. They do a great job with Saida and Ruaka really throwing bombs and then adding in some great stuff with Natsukatora. They did a great job highlighting BMI 2000, making it look like that then any given day they can defeat Wingori and become the new Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Champions, which ultimately that's what you want your challengers to look like. You want them to build them up to make it look like they can dethrone the champions in Wingori. Ultimately, though, Hanan gets some help from Saida. Or Hanan helps out Saida, sets up the Itabashi on Ruaka for the 3 count. A really, really great match. Again, great stuff highlighting Momokogo. in this match, and great more build up to that BMI 2000 versus Wingori championship match that looks like we're probably going to have coming up at the end of the month. Great match to start the show, 3 3/4 stars. We get a three-way with the young Emma. Again, Stardom, please put Emma in the high-speed division because she's fantastic. Versus Saki Kashima and Azumi. This was just great. Just classic Azumi and Emma. It was Emma's debut match in Korakuen Hall a few months ago where Emma was able to hang with high-speed Azumi in Korakuen Hall. And we get that here. Saki Kashima, she does a little bit of the high-speed stuff that she knows, but it's mostly Saki Kashima comedy. Azumi with the Fujiwara armbar onto Saki. Saki tries the Syuri kick onto Azumi, but she kicks almost Azumi too hard, and Saki then sells her foot. Really, really funny stuff. Eventually, we get this mini match with Azumi and Emma. Obviously, Azumi gets the advantage, hits the double stomp onto Emma, only for Saki to get rid of Azumi and to pin Emma. Really funny stuff. 3.5 stars for me. Folks, we go to match number 3, Neo Genesis. Starlight Kid, Mei Seira, Miyu Amasaki getting a win over Soriano, Uriah Hime, and Kyoko Furusawa. Again, more stuff with Starlight Kid and Soriano. Eventually, we're going to get to that match, whether it's pre-5-star or post-5-star. Regardless, we know there is definitely something there. We get to a really great start with Uriah Hime and Mei Seira to start off. Again, we're looking for challenges for the high-speed championship. I got no problem with Uriah Hime. Let's build her up. Again, it's only 10 minutes. Soriano with the missile dropkick to Miyu Amasaki, and then she hits the combination of the Muda lock and the fisherman suplex to Mei Seira and Miyu Amasaki. Soriano and Miyu Amasaki have a forearm trade-off. Again, that's a match I would not mind seeing somewhere in the 5-star Grand Prix. Excellent stuff there. Kyoko and Starlight Kid, really great chemistry between these two. Again, Starlight Kid, she's a next-level wrestler. She's a big star for Stardom. And here it is, Kyoko, only a few months into her career, really getting up on Starlight Kid in a good portion of this match. Starlight Kid does a really great job highlighting her and getting her over and selling for her, which I thought was really cool. She does this really cool cartwheel into a cartwheel head scissors into a knee bar, and then she uses that flying octopus hold that we've seen her use into a sunset flip for a near 2 count. Eventually, Starlight Kid breaks down Kyoko's knee, goes to the Black Tiger leg crusher submission, forces Kyoko to tap out. Again, a really great match with Starlight Kid doing a great job really getting Kyoko over. Majority of this match is just highlighting Soriano versus Starlight Kid. Again, we know we're getting that match somewhere soon. They've had great chemistry. We saw it in last year's 5-star Grand Prix. We saw it at the beginning of 2023 with Soriano's first defense of the Wonder of Stardom Championship. My guess is we're going to see another banker match when the time is right. Speaking of banger matches, that's exactly what this one was. 3 3/4 stars for me. Match number 4, Amisori, Tomoka Inaba, and Ranigami getting the win over Waka, Hanako, and Rion. I think I would have put over the XV team here because they need a little love. They need a little love. But regardless, we get some great Tomoka Inaba and Rion exchanges to start off said match. Again, Rion, somebody that we may see in the 5-star Grand Prix. Again, we don't know how this is going to shape up, but Saturday morning is going to be an interesting day for me. That is for sure. Rion with the Rion and Amisori, they have really great back and forth. There's some great spots with Hanako really setting up Waka and Rion for big spots. We've seen it where Hanako would hit a slam or a suplex, and then we would see Rion almost do a leapfrog off Hanako's back into a double stomp, and then Waka does a leapfrog over Hanako's back to do the old earthquake, John Tenta sit-down splash. Again, the chemistry with EXV, even though on a loss, was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, whoever comes out of Korakuen Hall this weekend as the artist champions, whether it's Neo Genesis or Hate, I would love to see this trio of Waka, Hanako, and Rion as your next challengers. Eventually, though, it is Rana. She hits the switch kick, also known as the beat strike, for the 3 count on Rion, 3 3/4 stars. We go to the semi-main event of this show as Bozilla and Akira, basically kind of a new tag team here that we didn't know that we wanted, but now that we're getting, we're like, these two are great together. These two are great. Again, Akira only a few months into her career. Bozilla just debuting about a month or so ago. They have instant chemistry. They're taking on Syuri and Lady C. Again, Syuri and Bozilla, that is a dream match that we are going to be getting somewhere probably in the fall or winter months once Syuri does come back from her taking some time off, because they had really great chemistry back and forth. And I was really, while Lady C and Akira were working the match on the inside, I was really watching what was going on with Bozilla and Syuri on the outside, because neither of these two were backing down. Again, interesting things our foot for one Bozilla. Again, Akira with the crossface on the Lady C. Lady C is able to get out, hit a big boot, and the Bruiser Brody style knee drop. That scores her a 2 count. Akira goes back to the crossface on Lady C. Lady C sells it. She fires up, gets the ropes, hits the bobble line onto Akira. Akira fires back with some great strikes. Half-hop suplex to Lady C for a 2 count. Again, Lady C showing really great fire in this match. Hits a big choke slam onto one Akira. Gets the 3 count. 3.5 stars. Again, really great stuff with Bozilla and Akira teaming up. Again, we need to be pushing, post 5-star for some challengers for probably Wingori. Just think Wingori sometime in like October, November versus Bozilla and Akira with a proper build. Chef's kiss. That match would be great. Saeed and Bozilla like going after each other, and then Akira and Hanan. Again, I think it writes itself. Selling tickets here, folks. Main event in a must-see match. Natsupoi, Aya Sakura, Yuna Mizumori, and Sayaka Kurora eating the L over the Hate Team World of Stardom champion and the Wrestler of the Year. Sai Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, Rina, and Konami. Match starts off the way that we want a big main event to start. We know we're getting a big championship match coming up soon between Sai Kamitani and Natsupoi, and that's how they start. Great high-speed offense between these two. Again, folks, if you have not seen it in some time, or if you haven't seen it at all, it was actually my match of the week over on our YouTube channel at the Stardom Cast from 2022. Sai Kamitani versus Natsupoi. I believe the date was February 23rd, 2022. These two had an instant classic for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. Again, if you haven't seen it in quite some time or haven't seen it at all, load up the Stardom World. Do yourselves a favor. Treat yourself. Watch that match. Really, again, great chemistry to start with Sai Kamitani and Natsupoi. I'm super excited for said match. We get tag outs with Sayaka Kurora and Rina. Again, they have really, really great chemistry. Sayaka Kurora gets the better of Rina, and then Hate's like, oh no, we ain't playing that. We get the Hate brawl. We get some cheating, bending, and breaking of the rules. We get this brawl all over the building with a specific camera angle on Sai Kamitani and Natsupoi. Again, that's your money match coming up at the end of the month. Sai Kamitani throws Natsupoi like into the 6th row. We usually see these chair bowling from Hate. You go into like the 1st or 2nd row. Like Natsupoi was like, they could have charged her for parking. She was so far out. Like just really, really great stuff. Eventually we go back in the ring. We have Sakura Daman, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori. Again, hopefully a potential Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championship challenge for them coming up soon because they're great. They come in and they save the day. Aya and Yuna, Sakura Daman, they come in and they clean house of everything is Hate. Excellent stuff. Konami, though, eventually she comes in. She slows things down to get the offense back on Hate's side. Hanging arm bar to Aya. Aya and Momo, great kick exchange. Yes, please. Again, Aya and Momo in the 5-star Grand Prix. Would not say no to that. Natsupoi, she comes in with the cartwheel arm drag and basement drop kick to one side. Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, and Konami, they come in for the save on their World of Stardom champion with the kick sandwich to Natsupoi. Then Sayaka Kurora, she comes in. She remembers how much she hates, pun intended, maybe, one Sai Kamitani. Sayaka Kurora hits the Takamaki spear onto Sai Kamitani, and of course, Saya sells it like she's Kurt Hennig in 1989. Excellent stuff there. Poi with the fairy magic on the side, Kamitani. We think we're going to get the win, but the ref gets pulled. Oh, those dastardly Hate wrestlers. That allows Momo Watanabe to hit a baseball shot onto everybody that is in the ring that's not a member of Hate. That eventually opens up the door to Sai Kamitani hitting the Star Crusher on a Natsupoi for the 3 count. 4.25 stars, my favorite match from this show. So excellent, excellent stuff. Really great show from start to finish, especially with that terrific match, main event match. So, folks, we go to the show on the 28th as we see the Saki Kashima Triumphant Return Show, Saturday, June 28th, 2025. The attendance notes and the Matsui City Generals was 511 people. I don't know if that's an increase or not. Rob doesn't have anything here. My guess would be the first time they ran said building. 511, really great number. Your quick results are as follows. Peach Lily as Momokogo and Uriah Hime defeating EXV of Waka and Rion, with Momokogo hitting the 619 DDT onto Waka in 8 minutes and 38 seconds. 6 women tag team action sees the Cosmic Angels trio of Soriano, Yuna Mizumori, and Aya Sakura defeating Bozilla, Akira Kurogami, and Kyoko Furusawa, when as Aya Sakura hitting the Cherry Blossom kick trio onto one Kikyo at 8 minutes and 58 seconds. Three-way action. Sayaka Kurora getting a win over Hanako and Emma when Sayaka hits the big spear onto Emma, 6 minutes and 15 seconds. 8-woman tag action. Momo Watanabe, Konami, Rion, and Azusa Inaba defeating Neo Genesis of Starlight Kid, Azumi, Mei Seira, and Miyu Amasaki when Rina hits the Pink Devil onto Miyu Amasaki, 12 minutes, 19 seconds. Semi-main event pits Hate of Sai Kamitani, Natsukator, and Ruwaka, defeating the team of Wingori, Hanan, Saida, and Natsupoi when it is Saya Kamitani Ruwaka pinning Saida at 14 minutes and 25 seconds with the, I believe she got the win here with the freezer bomb. Yep, that's it. Oh, no, she did the Public Enemy drive-by, the old school Public Enemy drive-by for the 3 count. Again, a really great match that's setting up. And again, I'll get into a moment that is setting up the 2 championship matches we have coming up soon. And the main event, the Saki Kashima return special 4-on-3. We see the God's Eye versus God's Eye handicap style match where Syuri, Amisori, and Hina defeating Saki Kashima, Lady C, Tomoka Inaba, and Rani Yugami when it is Syuri defeating Saki Kashima with the Ruin at 18 minutes and 38 seconds. Folks, let's get into, again, the Sports Center style results here. Again, opener, Rion and Waka versus Uriah Hime and Momo Kogo. Again, this is just building up the team of Peach Lily of Uriah Hime and Momo Kogo, getting them ready for this match coming up on Friday with them challenging for the New Blood Tag Team Championships. Really great stuff back and forth. Uriah Hime has a lot of great fire in this match with the drop kick, with her forearms, with the running boot. And again, I made mention just a little bit ago when Rob was on the show, just the instant chemistry that Uriah Hime and Momo Kogo have. They look terrific here. Again, Rihanna and Waka are really taking upon themselves to saying, hey, no Micah, she's injured. No Xena, she's still injured. Mina left to go to AEW, and Mina's crushing it, by the way. Phenomenal match with Mercedes Moné from this past weekend on AEW Dynamite. But again, Rihanna and Waka really picking it up here for EXV. But ultimately, though, it is Momo Kogo and Uriah Hime, some great teamwork that leads the 619 DDT, Momo Kogo pinning Waka 3.5 stars. We go to 6-person tag action as the Cosmic Angels trio of Soriano, Yuna Mizumori, and Aya Sakura. Obviously, Yuna and Aya, Sakura Daman versus kind of a makeshift team of Bozilla Kira. Obviously, they're probably going to be a tag team. And Kyoko. Again, Kyoko, we don't know where she's going to end up. Maybe this is a little tryout for her for Mi Valida Loca. She kind of fits the vibe. So who knows? Who knows where they'll go from there? We get Akira with a violence party on Soriano. Akira and Soriano had really great chemistry. Like Akira understood, I'm in the ring with one of the biggest stars in this company, possible challenger for the Wonder Belt, possible maybe finalist or even winner of the 5-star Grand Prix. I know she's kind of a long shot, but I'm not going to say no to Soriano winning the 5-star. She's terrific. And again, a proven ticket draw. Akira really brings the fire to Soriano. There's some great stuff with Yuna and Bozilla. I mean, Yuna is just chopping, trying to chop down the tree that is Bozilla, the lariats, and Bozilla just kind of eating them, selling them a little, but then kind of eating them. Thought it was really great stuff. Again, Bozilla and Yuna in the 5-star Grand Prix. I'm just fantasy booking, folks, the 5-star Grand Prix as I'm going. Excellent, really stuff there. Akira and Aya. Again, they kind of everybody paired off. They had some excellent stuff here. Bozilla slams Akira onto Aya Sakura. Again, Bozilla and Akira, they have instant chemistry as a team. Really, really do. Kyoko hits a big drop kick onto Aya for a 2 count. Aya then is able to avoid a knee bar from Kyoko and hits the Cherry Blossoms kick onto the young rookie and one Kyoko Furusawa, with Aya getting the win. 3.5 stars for me. Folks, match number 3, 3-way with Sayaka Kurora, Emma, and Hanako. Emma, we get some really great ground wrestling and high-speed wrestling with her and Sayaka Kurora. I thought that she was able to show that high-speed style wrestling with Sayaka Kurora early on in this match. Eventually, Hanako comes in and she's kind of the hammer, boom, 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 slowing things down, trying to work her style. Eventually, we almost see some teamwork onto Hanako. I think Sayaka and Emma knew that hey, Hanako's the biggest threat in this match. Let's kind of get her away. And that's basically what happens. That ultimately opens up the door for a really good closing stretch with some near falls with our Cinderella winner and one Emma. Great near falls back and forth. Well, it looked like Emma was going to get the win on this year's Cinderella tournament winner in Sayaka Kurora. But ultimately, though, it is Sayaka Kurora hitting the big Takamaki spear onto Emma for the 3 count, 3.25 stars. Folks, we go to match number 4 in our semi-main event of this show. Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, Meisera, and Azumi representing Neo Genesis, taking on the hate team of Momo Watanabe, Azusa Inaba, Rina, and Konami. Neo Genesis starts off with that phenomenal, fast-paced, high-speed offense that just melts your mind. How is any of that even possible? Excellent stuff there. They start that off on Rina. Eventually, Starlight Kid gets cut off. We get the hate brawl onto Neo Genesis. They put Starlight Kid in the ring. Starlight Kid is on the cell. She's getting some heat put on her. They're really doing a great job breaking apart one Starlight Kid's knee. Folks, I apologize if you can hear that. We're in the midst of a storm here, so hopefully we don't lose power. So we're going to keep trekking on here. Azumi and Konami, we got a great form exchange between the two. Azumi hits a top rope arm drag onto Konami. Momo Watanabe stops Azumi's Canadian Destroyer. She basically pops out of it and pops Azumi in the head with a head kick. Azumi and Momo Watanabe, they're that few rare combination where they're a great tag team. Remember Momo Oz in 2019 and 2020 and 2021, really great tag team, but they're really great opponents as well. Again, night 1, last year's 5-star Grand Prix, the final night of the 2023 5-star Grand Prix. Momo and Azumi have great chemistry. Really cool spot there with Momo popping out of the Destroyer to kick Azumi right in the head. And again, we know that Brazil is coming after that New Japan Strong Championship. I really want to see that Azumi versus Momo singles match for that New Japan Strong Championship, either before or after, or however they go about it. Rina and Miyu, great form exchange. Eventually, Miyu wins the form exchange with help from her friends at Neo Genesis. We get the 8 boots in the corner to Rina. Then Rina hits a diving knee bomb onto Miyu Amasaki. We get a kick sandwich onto Miyu from Momo Watanabe and Konami. Azusa, Konami, and Momo, they are able to take out Starlight Kid, Meisera, and Azumi. They're able to put them away for enough time for Rina to load up Miyu Amasaki for the Pink Devil, getting the 3 count. One of my favorite matches of these 3 shows. 4 stars for me with Rina getting the pin on one Miyu Amasaki. Folks, we go to, I'm sorry, this was the semi-main event. I apologize. We go to match number 5, Natsupoi, Saida, Hanan taking on Saya Kamitani, Natsu Couture, and Ruaka. Again, we know we have Saya Kamitani defending the World of Stardom Championship against one Natsupoi coming up here in just a few weeks' time. We also know BMI 2000 of Natsu Couture and Ruaka. They are the number 1 contenders against Saida and Hanan. So the crux of this match is just to build more anticipation for their respective championship matches coming up soon. And basically that's what we do. Saya Kamitani and Natsupoi, they start off the match hot. Great chain wrestling, great stuff back and forth, very much like we saw on the Friday show. Eventually, we get some tags to Hanan and Natsu Couture. Natsu Couture really starts laying down her power onto one. Hanan is able to use her strength. It's a lariat, the senton. Hanan is able to come back with her explosive style offense, hits that 180 body press, and then tags into Saida. Saida comes in all full of P&V, folks. Chops to Ruaka. Clotheslines to Natsu Couture, chops, forearms, shoulder tackles to all of BMI 2000. Again, Saida is an absolute beast in the best way possible, and she's really presented as this match. Really, really great stuff. We get dueling drop kicks that send the Hate Trio to the floor. That opens up the floor for Natsupoi to hit the picture perfect dive onto the floor. We do see Ruaka is able to hit the Fisherman's Buster onto Saida for the 2 count. We do see then Ruaka goes for the choke bomb. Saida is able to get out of the choke bomb with the Itabashi for a 2.9 count. Really great stuff. Back to Saya Kamitani and Natsupoi. Just some great exchanges, like next level stuff between the two. We know that those two are going to absolutely tear down the house coming up in Sapporo in just about 3 weeks' time. Natsu Couture and Ruaka, they wind up using their double team advantage, basically double teaming Natsupoi, double teaming Saida, double teaming Hanan. That sets up the dueling public enemy drive-bys. If folks, again, ECW kid, if you don't know what that is, basically what happens is Saya Kamitani takes Natsu Couture and Ruaka. They're both on the top rope, and one at a time they do flipping sentons onto one Saida. Ruaka picks up the pin due to the late great Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge. Shouts out love to the Public Enemy, one of the greatest tag teams of that era. Again, we've seen BMI 2000 using those drive-bys quite a bit over the last few years. 3 3/4 stars. I thought that was very important for BMI 2000 to get a win in this match, especially over one of the members of Wingori. Now we go to the main event, folks. The Saki Kashima Invitational return match. This was all sorts of fun. We knew it was going to be a handicap match because there's 7 members of God's Eye in said match. So Saki Kashima clearly wanted to be on Team Syuri. They drew straws or sticks before said show. Saki Kashima did not get on the team that she wanted to. So Saki, Rana, Tomoka, and Lady C taking on Syuri, future Stardom champion Hina, and one Ami Sohrei. The match starts off right off the bat with Saki Kashima with the Kishi Kasai onto Syuri. Everybody bit, including me. I thought that was me the finish. Like, can you imagine the main event? You go through all this fanfare for that, and it would have made sense because it's Saki Kashima. Ultimately, though, we start breaking down into a match. Really great stuff with Tomoka Inaba and Rana hitting kicks to Hina. Ami Sohrei, she comes in, makes the save. Excellent stuff with Ami Sohrei and Tomoka Inaba. Again, I'm going to keep fantasy booking the 5-star Grand Prix. I know they're in the same faction, but give me Tomoka Inaba and Ami Sohrei on opposite ends of the 5-star Grand Prix are in the same block. Tomoka and Rana are really using their kicks to their advantage. Ami Sohrei is using her size and strength to start grinding down Rana. Half crab under Rana Yugami. She looks really dominant. Tag into Lady C. Remember Lady C and Ami Sohrei? They were the Tokyo Towers back in the 2023 5-star Grand Prix. But that was back when Lady C was in God's Eye. Now that Lady C and Ami Sohrei are in the same faction, I wouldn't be shocked if we see them get a big run in the tag division. But regardless, they're running into each other with some shoulder tackles, some chops, some forearms. Excellent stuff with Lady C and Ami Sohrei. We finally get the tag out to the leader of this faction, and the whole reason why everybody's here, Syuri and Saki Kashima, form exchange, with Saki Kashima really, really laying in her forearms to one Syuri. I thought that was excellent stuff. Like, she really brought the fight to Syuri. We have not seen like that violent style from Saki Kashima yet, and Syuri does a great job really bringing it out to her. Excellent stuff there. Syuri locks in the White Tiger. Saki's able to get out. She locks in the Kishi Kasai for a 2 count. We get some waterfall finishes between all the members of God's Eye. Syuri then goes for the Kishi Kasai on Saki Kashima, which I thought was interesting. She gets out. Eventually, though, Syuri's able to put Saki away with the Ruin. This is a fun match. We had great wrestling, hard-hitting wrestling, comedy as well. All in all, 19 minutes, a really great story and a fun story being told. Pardon me, 4 stars for me. Really, really great stuff. But folks, that will lead us to our final match. We go to Sunday, June the 29th, as we close in on our triple header here, folks, as we go to Okayama. Again, Sunday, June 29th, 2025. The attendance notes in the convention center, 529. Again, a really, really stacked crowd, considering they did 400 and then 2 500 nights back to back. New Blood this weekend is sold out. Korakuen Hall looks like it's about to sell out. Looks like it's probably around 1,100 tickets are already sold, which we usually know Korakuen Hall is great walk-up business. My guess, that'll be about 1,400. So again, Stardom and really all the Joshi companies are on fire. Quick results are as follows. Mila Vita Loca, Bozilla, and Akira Kurigami getting a win over God's Eye of Hina and Rana Yugami, when it is Bozilla basically helping out Akira with a roll-up onto Hina. 10 minutes, 21 seconds. We do have the Tokyo Towers, as I just mentioned, of Lady C and Ami Sohrei getting a win over Emma and May Sarah, when is Lady C just absolutely dominating and cleaning the clock of Emma with the big boot. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Tag team action, as we're continuing to build up BMI 2000, and rightfully so. They get a win of Natsuko Tora and Ruaka, defeating Hanan and Kyoko Furusawa, when it's Natsuko Tora with the diving body press, the freezer bomb, pitting Kyoko. 9 minutes, 31 seconds. 6-woman tag team action. God's Eye trio of Syuri, Saki Kashima, and Tomoka Inaba, defeating the Cosmic Angels trio of Sayaka Kurora, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori, when it's Syuri forcing Aya to tap out via the grounded Suzaku in 9 minutes and 32 seconds. Semifinals, co-main event, EXV, Waka, Hanako, Rion getting a much needed win over Hanan, Saida, and Uriah Hime, when Waka uses the Waka slide over Uriah Hime, 14 minutes, 41 seconds. And then So far, what is my favorite match I've seen all the week? 10-woman tag. I still have no idea how they did this. It's a lot of people, a lot of moving parts, a lot of room for error. Stardom just does this better than any wrestling company, maybe in the history of wrestling. As we do have the dream team of Azumi, Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, Natsupoi, and Soriano, defeating the hate team of Saya Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, Konami, Rina, and Azusa Inaba. When Azumi pins Konami via the Azumi Sushi, I want to see Azumi and Konami in the 5-star Grand Prix, folks. Again, I know while I was waiting for Rob to send me the notes, I kind of went through some of the matches that I wanted to see, and I'm already fantasy booking other things I want to see. All right, folks, let's dig a little bit deeper into this fantastic show with Bozilla getting the win, or Bozilla and Akira getting the win over Rana and Hina. We get Hina and Akira because, again, we do have that Future Stardom Championship match between the two coming up this weekend. So they do a great job focusing, highlighting on Hina and Akira in this match. Excellent stuff. Rana does her best job possible trying to break down Bozilla, but Bozilla is just so dominant in this match. Hits the sit-out DVD to Hina. Hina and Rana, they wind up really they have a really great chemistry as a tag team. Again, they had a great match at All-Star Grand Queendom, a really great way to start off the main part of that show. But with Bozilla being so dominant, they are able to weather the storm, get some great teamwork between the two of them, trying to really put down Bozilla, or at least try to get Bozilla to kind of stay away, because, again, she's the dominant force in this match. We see the Hina special on Akira. That scores her a 2 count. Eventually, though, again, Bozilla is just so dominant. She comes in, and she winds up getting a roll up, or helping Akira with a roll up onto Hina, 3.25 stars. Again, I'm loving this team of Bozilla and Akira, and this is really great stuff with Akira and Hina. I really think they're going to tear down the house in Cork and Hall coming up this weekend. Again, the rival Tokyo Towers, Ami Sohrei and Lady C, as we see the return of them as a team, taking on Emma Mashiya. I'm just calling her Emma and May Sarah. Again, great stuff. Again, Emma and May Sarah, high speed here, folks. Let's get them going here. Ami starts grinding Emma down early with a headlock. I don't want any of this high speed wrestling. That's not what we do over here in God's Eye. We don't see any high speed wrestling. We do get some great teamwork with Ami Sohrei and Lady C. Eventually, May Sarah comes in. She does that one jump, one leap Joshi dropkick from the second rope, which is all done in one motion, which is just the most athletic thing I think I've ever seen. Excellent stuff. Emma, she comes in with a big springboard high cross body on Ami Sohrei and Lady C. Again, Emma's great with that springboard drop kick. Really great stuff. The thing that I got to be great with is trying to figure out how to pronounce her last name. I will get there, Emma, because you are a phenomenal next level wrestler this early into your career. And again, I want to see Emma possibly in Neo Genesis, but maybe before that, challenge May Sarah for the high speed championship. Eventually, though, we get some. We do see Ami Sohrei and Lady C with a double suplex on the May Sarah. Opens up the door for Lady C to hit that insane running boot, clocking the rookie 3.5 stars. Big win for Lady C. Match number 3, BMI 2000, the continuation of the buildup of BMI 2000, and rightfully so, of Natsuko and Ruaka taking on Hanan, one half of the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Champions, and Kyoko Furusawa. Start the match off, they're just grinding down on the rookie. I mean, Natsuko and Ruaka divide and conquer. We know Hanan is the threat in this match. We need to keep her on the apron as long as possible and torture this rookie. And that's what they do, building up sympathy. Great selling from Kyoko, great heat from Tora and Ruaka, getting proper heel heat on this tag team. Eventually, though, we do see Hanan. She comes in, hot tag, running European uppercut under Ruaka. We get a forearm trade off with Hanan and Ruaka. Hanan is able to use that one leap 180 body press onto BMI 2000. Kyoko comes in. She's able to help out her tag partner here with a series of dropkicks onto Natsuko Tora. And then we do see almost like some Rock and Roll Express style dropkicks from Kyoko and Hanan onto both Tora and Ruaka. Excellent stuff there. That opens up the door for Kyoko to really start building her offense in this match, because she was dominated so early on with a knee bar to the former World of Stardom champion. Eventually, though, Ruaka and Natsuko Tora, they go back to the game plan they had early on, divide and conquer, get Hanan out of the ring. That opens up the door for Natsuko Tora to hit the second rope splash, basically her version of the freezer bomb, for the 3 count, 3.25 stars. Match number 4 of this fantastic show. See Syuri Saki Kashima, Tomoka Inaba getting the win over Yuna Mizumori, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Kurora. We start off with a little bit of chain wrestling, and it does not take too long of a time for Saki Kashima to try to pin somebody with a Kishikasai. Sayaka Kurora almost falls victim early on in this match. I thought that was great. Syuri comes in. She hits some brutal snap kicks onto Sayaka Kurora. I mean, just really, really dominates Sayaka Kurora. And then Tomoka Inaba's like, I want some of that. I want some of that on the Cinderella tournament. I was a favorite to win the Cinderella tournament. I didn't win. I got bounced out in the first round, but Sayaka won. And boy, she makes the Cinderella tournament winner pay because, again, Syuri hit some brutal kicks. Tomoka Inaba's was just as brutal on one Sayaka Kurora. And again, Sayaka does a great job selling. She's a great underneath babyface. She does a great job taking a butt kicking, but then knowing when to make her come back. And excellent stuff there. We get some phenomenal forearm chop exchanges with Yuna Mizumori and Tomoka Inaba. Really excellent stuff between the two. Things I really, really enjoy. Just the hard-hitting nature between the two. Aya hits a spin kick onto Syuri. Again, Aya Sakura and Syuri. Great chemistry, great hard-hitting action back and forth. Again, we've seen these two wrestle before. Again, Aya is another one that does a great job taking a butt kicking, but then knowing when to come back. And she's got a really powerful moveset, with the striking, with the kicks. And I like how she uses the kicks to set up for that triangle choke. Really great stuff with her. Sayaka Kurora hits a big spear onto Syuri. Aya hits a flurry of kicks onto Syuri. That scores her a 2 count. Aya then comes off the rope. Looks like she's going to come for a running forearm. Syuri just hits a head kick onto Aya. That looks like she just knocked her out. And then she locks in the grounded Suzaku, which looked like she didn't even need to put on. It was almost like it's stick the fork in her. She's done, to quote Gorilla Monsoon. It looked like it was elementary from here. And that head kick was just absolutely brutal. And then again, grounded Suzaku onto Aya, forcing the submission. 3 3/4 stars. Syuri picking up another win. We go to our semifinal of this final show as EXV picking up another win here. Waka, Hanako, and Rion defeating Momo Kogo, Saida, and Uriah Hime. Again, look like that we're trying to build Uriah Hime up here, trying to get more wins. She said she wants to join this new version of Stars, but she wants to earn it by picking up some wins here. So I really like the story we're telling here. Momo Kogo was absolutely terrific. Again, another one I would love to see in this year's 5-star Grand Prix. She has definitely earned that right. Her and Rion have phenomenal chemistry. And again, her and Waka as well. Again, we got Momo Kogo and Uriah Hime opposite end of Hanako and Waka, Rice or Bread or Wanako, coming up again this Friday by the time this drops on YouTube for New Blood. So again, we're doing a great job showcasing that we're going to get parts of that in said match because again, great stuff with Momo Kogo and Uriah Hime teaming together. And again, EXV as a trio, this version of EXV, again, no Micah, no Mina, no Xena, still really, really able to bring up their game. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. Again, Waka and Momo Kogo, as this match is kind of building back up as we're ramping up towards the finish, Waka and Momo Kogo just absolutely tear it up. And I'm so excited to see what they're going to do on this New Blood show coming up this weekend. Because one of the great things about the New Blood show is you're not going to get a Momo Kogo 10, 12, 11, or 8, 10, 11, 12 minute match on like a pay-per-view. And you're not going to get Rion going 14, 15 minutes on a pay-per-view because that's saved for the Syuris, the Saya Kamitanis, the Momo Watanabes, Azumis, so on and so forth. But the New Blood, they give time to tell their stories. And Waka and Momo Kogo absolutely tore it up here. Excellent stuff there. I'm so excited to see what they're going to do. Waka and Rion, they do the leapfrog spots off the back of one Hanako. Again, I absolutely love that. We get great forearm exchange with Waka and Uriah Hime. Again, Waka, she's really stepping up her game here in absence of all those great wrestlers, not an EXV, stepping up her game, especially in the striking. We do see some waterfall finishes. That leads us back to a mini singles match with Waka and Uriah Hime, which was phenomenal. But Waka does the double underhook into the sliding pin, also known as the Marufuji slide, which I have dubbed as the Waka slide for the 3 count, 3 3/4 stars. Excellent match, again, with the highlight being Momo Kogo and Waka really tearing it up and tearing it down in this match. That leads to the main event, maybe the best 10-person tag match I've ever seen. I don't know if there's if there's a better one, and again, maybe it's just recency biased. If there's a better 10-person tag match in wrestling history, folks, let me know. I mean, let me know, especially like in this style, like not Survivor Series style, but like one fall to a finish. Let me know. Oh, the Canadian Stampede match. That was a good one. That was 10, right? It was Brett, Owen, Anvil, Pillman, and Davey Boy. Yeah, Legion of Doom, Goldust, Shamrock, and Austin. Yeah, maybe that one's better. Maybe. I don't know. But regardless, folks, again, give me some suggestions of a better 10-person tag match than this one, because this was really, really good. We do get to see some lucha style offense to start with Starlight Kid and Rena. If you remember back at the beginning of this year, Starlight Kid and Rena had a phenomenal match at the Path of Thunder, dun dun dun, and Rock and Roll for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. They have really great stuff, really great chemistry. Excuse me. Starlight Kid hits the standing moonsault on the Rena for a 2 count. It looks like that this dream team of Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, Izumi, and Soriano versus I was so excited about this match, folks. This match, the main event, Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, Azumi, Natsupoi, and Soriano taking on World of Stardom champion Sai Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, Rina, Azusa Inaba, and Konami. So I get that excited. I forgot about what this match is. So yeah, you have basically the Hate All-Stars versus Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, Azumi, the Artist of Stardom champions, and Saori Poi. So like, what a dream team that is on the babyface side. So again, Starlight Kid and Rina, great way to start the match with the lucha style offense. Starlight Kid gets the better of Rina and hits the exclamation point on their end spot with that standing moonsault. Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, and company are like, absolutely not. We need to do what we do best. We're gonna pull out every single member of this Neo Genesis, Cosmic Neo Genesis team, and we're gonna go to the hate brawl because hey, why not? That's what we're best at. And again, it's the main event, 10 people, so you need to break it down. Eventually, though, obviously, Hate gets the best of that brawl because that's what they do best. That's their gimmick. Hate's going to hate. We do see back in the ring, Azusa Inaba starts putting some heat on the Miyu Amasaki, really kicks away at Miyu, kicking at her leg, kicking at her chest. Really great stuff. Azusa really looked like a killer in this match, and Miyu does a great job selling and really showing that she is on the back foot. Momo Watanabe, she comes in. She says, I want some of that. I want to kick away at the young Miyu Amasaki. She beats up Miyu Amasaki. Miyu Amasaki, what we've seen her really, really excel at in these last 4 or 5 months is taking a butt kicking and then showing her baby face fire. Firing back on Momo Watanabe. Momo Watanabe does a great job selling and feeding for Miyu, making it look like Miyu can almost go shot for shot with one Momo Watanabe. Eventually, Soriano comes in. She cleans house, hits a huge dropkick onto Momo Watanabe. I want to see Soriano and Momo Watanabe in the 5-star Grand Prix. I'm going to keep this train going, folks. Let me know in the comment section below or wherever what matches you want to see in the 5-star Grand Prix. Starlight Kid and Soriano, they team well. Like, wow, what a random team. Starlight Kid and Soriano, like, great teamwork on all the members of Hate. It's like everybody gets pitched in, double team move, double team move, double team move. It's like, oh, like, we know we're getting that match for the white belt soon. It's like, yeah, let's show what we can do as a team. I thought that was really great stuff, really cool stuff. Soriano hits the big Insaguri on the Sai Kamitani. Again, that's probably the match I want to see the most in the 5-star Grand Prix. That opens up the door for Natsupoi to come in with the cross arm breaker onto Saya Kamitani. We see members of Hate breaking up the cross arm breaker. We do see then the other members of the Cosmic, the Neo Angels, the Neo Angels come in. So basically everybody takes each other out. We break this down into a Natsupoi versus Saya Kamitani, kind of a spots between them. Again, that's our big championship match coming up. Slugfest between the two. And every match that we've had on this weekend showed how great they are at the high-speed style wrestling, the lucha style wrestling, the explosive style wrestling, where this match is like, no, we're going to get down and dirty with some strikes. People forget how great of a striker, or not forget, but it's like they don't realize how great of a striker Soriano is, Natsupoi is, and how great of a striker Saya Kamitani is. Like when it comes down to throw fists or to throw blows, these two are two really, really great strikers, and a showcase right here as we're building up towards the end of this match, which again, on the Friday show, we really didn't see that much. On the Saturday show, we really didn't see that much. With this one, it's like, no. Now we're really ramping up the hatred, pun, I guess, someone intended, between these two. Excellent stuff there. Natsupoi, again, they go counter for counter, kick exchange, excellent stuff there. Eventually, they wind up taking each other out. We get some phenomenal stuff with Konami and Azumi. And it really seems like these past 3 or 4 months, we've seen a lot of Neo Genesis versus Hate multi-person matches on these, what we call these Stardom World shows. And Azumi and Konami really steal the show. It's just like they've never had a big singles program. They never had like a major singles match. these two have great chemistry together. Again, Azumi and Konami, I'll take that in the 5-star Grand Prix as well. Azumi hits the Joshi style drop kick onto Konami for a 2 count. That helps. That gets in one. Momo Watanabe and Azusa Inaba, they hit a kick sandwich onto Azumi to slow down the teamwork. I really like that. And then we go to, if you remember from a couple years ago, some mutual love of Starlight Kid and Natsupoi. If you remember when Starlight Kid about a year and a half ago was thrown out of a Wedo tie, everybody wanted Starlight Kid in the group. And then we did see Natsupoi and Starlight Kid teaming up quite a bit as mutual love. And great stuff there. Again, Starlight Kid is such a great wrestler because she's a great team with Momo Watanabe we saw a couple years ago. Great teamwork with Suzu Suzuki we saw last year. Her and Azumi, the few times we get to see them team as Starbomb, is like, it seems like they're 5 years ahead of their time. She was great here with teaming with Soriano in the beginning. And great stuff. Her and Natsupoi as a team. Again, mutual love. It's like, oh man, remember them? Short-lived team that was Starlight Kid and Natsupoi. Excellent stuff there. Starlight Kid and Natsupoi, they wind up hitting corner dives on opposite ends of the ring. So it's like one side got to see the one dive and the other got to see the other, which was really cool. Because sometimes if you do both big spots on one side, you're like, oh man, section A or B might have missed it. But every single section, 1 through 4, north, east, west, south, whatever you want to call it, they both got the big dive. Excellent. Really, really great stuff there. Back in the ring we go with more of a mini match with Azumi and Konami, with Azumi hitting a huge double stomp to Konami for a 2 count. Konami comes back with a big German suplex. We get some violent head kick exchanges between Azumi and Konami. I made mention about how underrated strikers Natsupoi and Sai Kamitani are. Azumi's another one. I mean, her striking game over the last 2 years has really come a long way. She's one of the hardest hitters in this company. Excellent stuff there. Eventually, the ref gets pulled. We get a bat shot to Azumi. That leads to the Triangle Lancer. Konami hitting the Triangle Lancer onto Azumi. You figure that would have been the finish because just when it looked like this dream team of the Neo Angels were going to get the win, here comes the cheating because that's what hate does. And it looks like the bat shot and the Triangle Lancer is going to put away one Azumi. Starlight Kid comes and makes the save. We get some great Starbomb, Azumi and Starlight Kid offense to one Konami, and then we see the other members of this dream team of Starlight Kid, Miyu, Soriano, Natsupoi take out Sai Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, Arena, and Azusa Inaba, and then we get back to that mini match with Azumi and Konami, with Azumi putting Konami away with the Azumi Sushi for the 3 count. This was chef's kiss, one of my favorite matches of the year from any wrestling company. Again, one of the best 10-person tag matches I have ever seen. 4 3/4 stars. Just really great stuff between these two teams. Again, I knew this match was going to be great, but again, anytime that you see, an 8 or 10-person tag, you're like, man, these things can get real messy. But for some reason, Stardom just doesn't bet them than anybody. And again, Starlight Kid teaming with Soriano in the beginning, teaming with Natsupoi in the middle, and then her and Azumi towards the end. Really great stuff from Starlight Kid. Again, she's a next level performer. Azusa Inaba was terrific. Momo was great. Every wrestler had something to do. Every wrestler had something to but they did a great job really, really highlighting everybody in the match, especially Azumi getting a win over Konami, as I'm predicting Azumi to have a major run in this year's 5-star Grand Prix. Again, we talked about all the other wrestlers that are going to, Aya, Sayaka, Yuna, all these wrestlers are going to step up because, again, you don't have a Mayu, a Tam, and Micah, so on and so forth. Azumi has been in the 5-star Grand Prix every year, I think since like 2018, 2019. Each year she's having better matches. I think she's going to be one that may walk away as the MVP because she is a wrestler that has been on that main event level for the past few years, and I think she's somebody that we can stamp on as a main eventer. Again, she did defeat Saya Kamitani a couple weeks before the Kamitani Tam match at All-Star Grand Queendom, so we need to bring that back. I just think we need an Azumi Saya Kamitani main event match on a pay-per-view to see if that Azumi Saya Kamitani match can do like 2,000 tickets because it's going to be great. We just need to see if Azumi is a main event level draw. And I think if they give her the chance, she will absolutely be a main event level draw. Because I say it all the time, I'm going to say it again, with the exception of Will Ospreay, probably the most talented wrestler in all of wrestling is one, Azumi. Pardon me, folks. All right. We're going to head into our EO and Kyrie watch. And folks, we got a little bit. We got quite a bit here. We go to main event, not Saturday night's main event, but main event. As the main event show does open with Kyrie versus Ivy Nile. I know most of our listeners When it comes to WWE, they're just watching NXT, Raw, SmackDown, main event, because there's so many programs with wrestling. So main event kind of flies under the radar. On a Gaze of Julia last week on the Marigold Standard, talked about Julia's match with B-Fab, which was really good. But main event, again, folks, you don't have to just go on your Peacock network. It's literally the first match. As soon as you hit play, first match. This was great. Ivory Nile and Kyrie, excellent stuff. Big lockup to start the match. We do see Ivy Nile really using her power, grounding Kyrie, using the power, her strength advantage on Kyrie. Kyrie gets the first advantage with that kip up, head scissors, using her speed and basically her experience to really, really work over Ivy Nile. Hits a couple sliding forearms, using the forearm smashes. Eventually, Ivy Nile, she tries to retreat to go to the outside. Kyrie does a running apron forearm smash, which I thought was really, really cool. Excellent stuff there. We go back in the ring, and Ivy Nile starts working on the arm of Kyrie. Makes sense. Ivy was dominating early on. Kyrie just really using the forearms to get her advantage. And then Ivy's like, well, this is her main weapon. I'm going to take it away from her. So I really like that. Really great psychology. Kyrie winds up firing back with a couple forearms. She hits a running sliding D for a 2 count. Ivy hits a big head kick and a German suplex for a 2 count. That was a great German suplex. I mean, this was like Stardom style suplex. Again, head kick into the German suplex. I'm like, man, we would see Kyrie take those back in the day. Not so much in WWE, but here it was. Again, Ivy Nile, great combination, head kick into a German suplex, reminding you of a Konami, a Momo Watanabe, a Syuri. Great stuff there. Ivy Nile goes to pick up Kyrie to put her away. Kyrie explodes out, hits the cutlass, hits then a stunner. We've seen Kyrie using the Stone Cold Stunner, hitting the stunner after the cutlass. That sets up for the Insane Elbow for the 3 count. Again, folks, this was actually only about 6 or 7 minutes. Definitely take the time to watch this one. This was really good. I was really impressed by Ivy Nile, and Kyrie is just Kyrie. Speaking of Kyrie, folks, it's been all over the internet. This vignette that they had for Kyrie. It's basically she's had all these championships, the NXT championship. She has had the the women's tag team championship. Now she's coming for all the gold. Does that mean she's coming for Io or Tiffany Stratton or whoever? I don't know. Maybe she's going for the Intercontinental Championship against Becky. Or, eventually if it goes to Bailey or Lila Valkyria, or if she's going to go over to SmackDown and challenge maybe Julia for the United States Championship. This is a really cool vignette. Again, if you haven't seen it, you can just search it on social media. It'll take you 2 seconds to find where they show her in a ship and she's eyeing all the championships in WWE. So clearly they're putting a lot into Kyrie. She's somebody that connects with the audience. She's been on TV quite a bit since her return just a few months ago. And again, we had her in main event. And we had a really cool vignette from package. So whoever put that together really made Kyrie look like a big deal. And again, for us long-term Stardom fans, we know Kyrie is definitely a big deal. That leads us into basically the opening segment of this show where Io comes out. We don't get to see Io that much. I don't know why. She had the best match in WrestleMania weekend. The next night, she has this great match with Stephanie Verker. And then obviously Julian Roxanne Perez spoils the party. And it looked like we were doing some major things with Io. It was all systems go. On the best wrestler, signed to a WWE contract and won Io Sky. But she comes out and says, hey, I'm the champion. I get to nominate my next opponent. She wants a singles match with the person she defeated for the Raw Women's Championship, one Rhea Ripley. It is official, taking place July 13th, one day after All In, one day after Saturday night's main event. We have Evolution 2, Io versus one Rhea Ripley. If you remember the very first Evolution show, which I believe was 2018, it was Io and one Toni Storm in the finals of the Mae Young Classics. So Io in another big match here against Rhea Ripley. I don't know how this is going to go. Maybe they're going to put the belt back on Rhea because, again, she's the biggest star in this company. But at the same time, it's like I don't think she needs the belt, where Io, I think, needs it, and she needs more TV time because she's great and she's insanely over and she's the best wrestler on this roster, regardless of gender. So I don't know which way this is going to go. A little fearful because they just haven't done anything with Io post WrestleMania. Again, I don't know why. She had the best match and the most buzz coming off WrestleMania. So, regardless, I'm really looking forward to this Evolution show. It's really shaping up to be something special. And so we shall see coming up on the 12th of July. So a lot of great stuff we have coming up in July. Again, all this great stuff with Stardom. We have the start of the 5-star Grand Prix. We have the Dream Star coming up soon. So we have Utami and Cork and Hall coming up, I think, in 2 weeks' time. We have AEW All In. So, I mean, great time to be a professional wrestling fan. Folks, it's going to wrap up for this episode. I know A lot of our listeners are going to be happy because we have clocked this baby in over 2 hours, folks. So we're going to call this one an episode. Again, folks, dropping this weekend, I believe on Sunday, it is supposed to drop my interview with Jazmin Allure. Absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed chatting with her. And again, she's somebody that is going to be a big breakout star coming up in the next few months. So we hope we're enjoying all the interviews that we've done. We had 4 of them in June. Again, Allison Danger, Maya World, Mara Shade, Nixon Newell, the former Tegan Knox. We have a couple other things we do have in the pipeline that I am actively working on because I'm trying to get maybe 2 to 4 interviews up every month. So again, folks, let us know. Let us know in the comment section or who you want us to interview. Who would you like us for us to interview? Because we will do everything we can to interview just about any wrestler, folks. And again, you know how to get a hold of me, folks. You know how to get a hold of me. Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and the Twitter is the easiest, fastest, and best way to get a hold of me. Or you can simply shoot me an email at thestardomcast22@gmail.com. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for another fun-filled episode of the Stardom Cast. We greatly appreciate your support. Can't do it without you. Like I always say, just not my podcast. It's our podcast because we're all together. Everybody's different. Everybody's special. Have a safe one, folks. Happy 4th of July. Be safe out there, folks. And if you're watching the Ozzy concert like I am, enjoy. Take care, guys. Happy 4th.